Chaknu, and Hatred.
Yeah. So tutusin siya ang unang tumesting. Siya ang unang tumesting. Dun sa kaya.
Kung may creator, siya yung discoverer.
Siya yung discoverer. Yan. And as you can see, he's gonna be part of such a very well caliber coaching staff as Coach Tic-Tac and Coach CJ. Renmar, this is a new scenario para sa kupunan ng Team Liquid. Kasi for the longest time, it's always been Coach Tic-Tac. Pero ngayon, last season, we've seen Coach CJ. And then now, Coach Saire. What's going to be, the factor that we're going to expect from the Cavalry?
Well, I think one thing we have to acknowledge is for teams that have always had the bigger coaching staffs, hopefully behind the scenes that they have that good balance, that good understanding of like who manages what. Let's look at TNC Pro Team to understand how they see it. Because for TNC Pro Team, Wolf already said in an interview that he focuses more on the macros. He has 2 former players with him as his analyst, as his assistant.
Shoutout ulit. Shoutout Itachi.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same case for TLPH. The organization is already experienced in terms of handling bigger rosters, bigger coaching staffs. So now, instead of what was a 3v1 heading into this week with the entire roster of against Coach CJ, now it's a 3v3.
Kumbaga, they're leveling up the battlefield. Now it's either it's Wolf versus Coach Tic-Tac and friends, if I should say. Kasi meron na sila mga right, and friends.
Welcome back talaga, Coach Tic-Tac.
Welcome back to Coach Tic-Tac as he's going to be part of the team once again. But speaking of someone who is back, this is the smart hero within. Dahil SDZYZ, he's gonna be unleashing the Seasoned Hunter. The Seasoned Hunter, given that he's played and he's showcased kung ano nga ba yung meta natin for the longest time. Because he was the substitute jungler for TNC. He's also known as the proponent of the Demon Slayer meta. Yun ang inintroduce noong season 9.
4 minutes pa?
Yung same season that TNC reached their highest finish in MPL history, being 3rd place. So, now that he's back in TNC, would that be something that we're gonna expect? Or is this a process na kailangan pagdaanan ni SD?
Alam mo, gusto ko lang balikan yung
Uy,
naging run
si
ng
Chu!
TNC Pro Team way
Chu
back
is back.
season 9 wherein they placed their best season yet, no? Wherein they placed
Parang pangit ang mic ng MPL. O pangit ang mic ko.
TNC Pro Team was the textbook TNC, meaning they've done everything by the book. Lahat ng ginagawa nila, may reason, and SDZYZ is definitely one of the people to look out for.
STC, pioneer ng tank yan.
Nagkabalikan na kasi sila ni Escalera.
Nagkabalikan. Okay, tuloy.
Nagkabalikan sila ni Escalera na ang tagal nilang hindi naging magkakampi. Tapos, meron pang added factor na nandito si Coach Eto Max and Coach Wolf, na we all know are very renowned analysts of their own, talagang may bagong may papakita ang TNC Pro Team ngayon.
Now that you mentioned that, I'm honestly interested. Renmar, quick lang. How is SDZYZ? Paano ba siya maglalaro ngayon? Kasi we haven't seen him in a long time. Saan ba siya nanggaling?
Unleash the Seasoned Hunter. Oh, siya talaga nag-unleash dun eh.
Hindi World Tour, Southeast Asia Tour naman yung naranasan niya. So, I feel like the inclusion of SDZYC now, it's more of a buff. Kasi
jungle pala yun, hindi Seasoned Hunter. Seasoned Hunter ba?
TNC Pro Team, someone who helped introduce a new meta. So, buff yung introduction dito ni SD.
Speaking of introduction, I feel like it is now time for Team Liquid Philippines and TNC Pro Team. Let's go.
Ay, na.
MPL Arena, this is our first match of the day, and these are the fine gentlemen who will be behind the desks helping out our teams. It's Jeff, Chico, Pat, and Wilbert, the Marshals. This is for you. The cavalry has arrived, an unstoppable force, and with a new coach, well, returning coach in town, it's Team Liquid PH. Happy birthday again, Carl! And the Master Tacticians, fresh off of a gig, it's Coach Wolf for TNC Pro Team. And for Team Liquid PH,
Kaya nakatingin kay Wolf eh, nag-seconds eh. Birthday boy. The GOAT.
Come closer together. SDZYZ, ano ang palag mo kay Carl TZ?
Wait lang po, nakalimutan ko po eh. Ako sasabihin ko po eh. Good luck. Bibigyan ka namin kayo ng magandang laban.
Magandang laban. Carl TZ, ano ang palag mo kay SDZYZ?
Mas malaki po yung chan ko.
Are you awake?
Malay
Mas
chan.
malaki ang tiyan.
Yung
Alright,
hindi
Chris,
pa inubos. Ay, di. Makipapalit
Now
ako
return to your
Akay,
spots.
500 na po.
Can TNC rise once more? Or will the cavalry ride to victory?
No.
Let's step in the Lanadon. Casters, pasok.
May uri-uri.
Uri.
Uri-uri.
Bak. Bak.
Nga daw yun siya ni Carl. Pero sino nga ba ang mas mataas naman ang kumpiyansa dito sa TNC Pro Team with SDZYZ's return?
Kaya nga, kumbaga excited na ako makita kung ano yung bagong ipapakita ng TNC Pro Team given their last week's run. So definitely, yung isang linggong preparasyon as they head on to this second week, yun yung kailangan nating makita. May mga tanong tayo na fully gelled na ba talaga yung chemistry? Or kailangan pa nating makitang pag-igihan palalo ng TNC Pro Team kung ano yung binubuo nila as of now?
Yeah, because Coach Wolf did mention that their chemistry was one of the things that they wanted to work on. And
Yes.
Escalera mentioned his frustrations about the movements and the communications not being there. They needed to be there because they're up against a team. They're up against JP and Sanji, who in the roam in the mid. Their rotations alongside Carl TZ, we know Team Liquid PH. We know how well they do locally, how well they do internationally. And they are a team that if you don't know or don't know the strategy that you want to pull off in the early game, they will punish you for it.
And for most of the time, right? For most of the time, we've seen Team Liquid Philippines na ito na talaga yung nilalagay nilang lineup. And TNC Pro Team, they're in the process, di ba? That's what they would always say, especially during their press release, na kailangan mong pagkatiwalaan yung proseso. And now, SDZYZ is gonna be part of it to go up against Carl TZ as well.
Yeah, TNC Pro Team, their issues, they mentioned it was chemistry. But for Team Liquid PH, it's biology with how natural the game comes to them.
I mean, for keys to victory, you have to surprise the cavalry if you're TNC with what you can pull off. If you're the side of Team Liquid Philippines, you have to fight
Let's
against your
go,
army's
Liquid.
versatility with your stability. And then for both, you have to activate your trio mid, early, and dictate.
Tangina na,
the
parang
pace.
nagdalaga.
Captured you on this.
Dito sa Infinix Keys to Victory,
Game,
ang
pasok.
nag-strike sa akin, yung pangatlo, activate
Boss, shoutout,
your
boss.
mid, early, and dictate
Boss
the pace
Minard.
of the game. Hindi ko alam if napapansin nyo, pero ngayon sa meta natin right now, hindi na masyadong uso na gold laner na lang yung bumubuhat doon sa laban. Gone were
Siyempre.
the days na talagang nakaalalay
Saka
lang
sin
sa
meta
gold
eh.
laner lahat. Ibig sabihin, kailangang maging mas mabilis ng mid laner, specifically yung mid and roam sa kanilang rotation. One, to give space to their jungler, and two, to give space for their gold laner, especially now na bumabalik tayo sa assassin meta.
Kaya ako natatakot dito para sa TNC Pro Team because right now this meta, and they have shown it in international tournaments for Team Liquid Philippines, they're so comfortable playing with this kind of rotation, with the roam mid and jungle really setting the tempo. And when you're up against a team that's still trying to discover themselves,
Yeah.
again, this is what we mentioned earlier and what we've been talking about, we've been alluding to it. The TLPH can really punish them in the early game if TNC Pro Team aren't careful. However, what I like about TNC Pro Team is that they have shown that when they are in the zone, they can control the
You're
early
right.
game, and they have also shown to be able to show little flashes of comebacks.
Yes.
I feel like that's been the trademark of TNC, right? They've always managed to take control pagdating sa early game ng
Yeah.
ilan sa mga series. And I hope that they could also translate that into the later portions of the match. Because in just a bit, ay makikita na natin ang draft, both the picks and bans para sa parehas na kupunan. And I am sure that this is going to be wild, given that this is Coach Wolf and it's Coach Saire, Coach Tic-Tac, Coach CJ. We don't know who's there, but this is going to be major para sa dalawang.
Talagang major, talaga ang magiging kaganapan.
Bakit di daw natuto NA sa Ewan ko. Tanong natin sa coach ng Turkey, ng Fireflux. PH number 1.
Liquid PH.
Wait lang guys ha, edit lang ako konti, edit.
in terms of turtle fights.
Yeah.
So yun yung kailangan nating makita.
Wala pa naman, di pa may start ng game eh. Pero magtanong lang kayo, babasahin ko naman eh.
TNC Pro Team, yung talagang chemistry na gagamitin nila as we head on to week number 2.
Yeah, surprising first pick for TNC Pro Team. They go ahead and take the Julian, taking it away from the hands of Carl TZ. That's a usual jungler pick for Team Liquid. While Benny Cutie, although this can still
edit
get
lang boss,
flashes
edit lang
from
muna.
in the jungle, but in terms of the
Habang di
recent
pa start.
pickups, it's almost always a Benny Cutie pick for the Roger. And I like that TLPH decided to go for the Aurora because it's one of the comforts for Hatred in the mid lane.
Yes, and aside from it being a comfort for hatred, no, magiging maganda yung pagkakapick ng Aurora mostly because it can counter any assassins that will run into it. So
Yeah.
sa mga nangyayari ngayon, no, Aurora ay isa sa mga primary counters against a Hayabusa. Kasi
Yeah.
kapag dumikit yung Hayabusa, hindi tumama yung quad shadow, madali siyang mafe-freeze ng Aurora.
Yeah, so that goes to show the level of understanding na meron
Galing maging Disney ano.
knowing that SDZYZ
MP, galing maging si MP. Tuwan-tuwa nga yung mga interviewer doon.
have in the tournament. Teresla and Moscow yung ipipick up ng TNC Pro Team to finish their first round. Meanwhile,
Si Kurt, nagtagalog pero walang ano eh.
Liquid.
Yeah, it's Blitz.
Nagtagalog, wala nagtatranslate.
Decide to take away the Faramis. Yeah, really fast.
Hindi ko na tuloy alam kung naintindihan nila yung sinasabi ni Kurt. Kurt TC.
Picks fast. TNC Pro Team will pick fast right away.
Yes.
Now, one thing that they've been picking a lot, or they picked a lot in week 1, was a Terizla for heads. I actually like this approach that they decide to continue picking the safest EXP laner you can give an EXP laner when you're trying to discover yourself. And I like that TNC Pro Team banned out the high loss because in the 2 times they faced off against the high loss, it always surprised them in the draft and in the game.
And even in week number 1, Hylos has always been effective. Kung babalikan natin yung mga games na pinili yung Hylos, I think it was only once na natalo yung Hylos and it wasn't even a very insurmountable defeat. Nagkaroon lang talaga ng opportunity yung kabilang team na makahanap ng opening doon.
One thing I'm gonna look out for here is a potential jawhead for TLPH.
Yes.
Even though we see the Edith and that does go into the hands of JP, that can still get flexed into the hands of Sanford. Plus a jawhead and Aurora together just sound annoying. I don't want to go up
Babato ka
against...
tapos magiging yellow ka tapos.
That kind of does make a lot of sense because from what we've seen, right from the first week of the drafting, parang nagre-rely yung mga teams sa kung ano yung mga flexible na mga heroes. Like they're gonna be picking Julian.
Pagtugapa.
Picking
Yeah.
Dami lalabas na komentary na ganun pang hype times. So,
Pero now, we kind of see
hintayin nila yung komentary ni Mobasin. Yun ang hype.
option to go into the XP lane.
Di pa nasagot si Mobasin eh. Pag sumagot yun, di ba siya nag-live kanina?
In that kind of scenario. Meanwhile, for TLPH, we're still unsure kung saan ba pupunta itong Edith, but it will most likely go to JP kasi parang yun yung madalas na nilalaro niya ngayon depending on the scenario.
Ooh, and it's...
Okay.
Ah!
Stand corrected. Predicted.
Oo, kasi nga naman no, aside from the fact na medyo nakakainis talaga yung Jawhead, yung mere fact na kaya niyang itapon palikod kung sino man yung nasa harap.
Yep.
SDYC nakabalik na, no? Yan talaga yung unang nag-tank jungle, si SDYC. Ay, gumamit ng tank emblem.
Real matchup gonna go
Ay,
to Jawhead, right? Kasi usually
jungle emblem ba yun? Yung kulay green?
diba?
Yeah, it is gonna be standard
Kaya talaga ka lang gumamit
in
nun.
terms of who can get their main abilities off first. The good thing for the Jawhead is he has anti-
Jungle emblem, ah.
So the Vexana pick up for TNC and a last pick carry. So they do flex the Roger, put it in the hands of Carl TZ in the jungle, and Benny Cutie goes for the carry. I like that TNC. I want to focus a little bit more TNC because they're the team right now that has a lot of questions. This draft looks relatively easy to pull off.
Oo. Kaya lang, alam mo, gusto ko din banggitin, no, yung fact na in terms of flexibility, talagang nasa TNC Pro Team, 15 picks na ang TNC Pro Team unique heroes pick. Whereas for Team Liquid Echo, they've always used the same hero na paulit-ulit gumagana sa kanila.
I mean, it's been that story, right? Kasi so far, they are undefeated in terms of matches. Nakita natin na paulit-ulit nilang ine-execute yan. And as of this moment,
Jowa ata ni Chu yan eh. Magandang girlfriend ni Chu. Ay, ni SDYG. Magandang girlfriend niya.
to get a victory that's very much necessary.
Hindi ako masyadong nakasubaybay sa MPL. Kailan ba na-escape ng Aurora Boss? Bukas ata. Bukas ata, Moria.
A crucial point, possibly a turning point habang di
Siya ba yun?
pa lang.
Oo, siya yun. Yung unang gumamit ng tank emblem. Yung ano, yung bagong patch, yung kulay green. Jungle emblem ba tawag doon? Siya talaga unang gumamit noon, siyempre. Pero na-maximize kagad ang PH, kaya
I mean, yup. That's right.
TNC always
What?
win.
You have to say that, but okay.
Sige,
okay.
just say it.
Wag niyo lang kakalimutan. Wag niyo lang
Shout out
kakalimutan.
sa mga
Major love
taga-Tarlac.
sa lahat ng mga tao na nanonood sa ating venue and especially to the people na nanonood mula sa Tarlac City. Pinapapunta na kayo dito. Mag-boost na daw kayo.
Oo nga, ito
Boost
na
yan.
yun.
Hindi ko alam kung paano kayo pupunta dito pero pupunta na kayo because in just a bit, we'll be seeing these two teams, and I am sure that SDZYZ's return will be welcomed very well ng kupunan ng Team Liquid Philippines. But the question is, how will they fare? This lineup that seems to still be a puzzle that the Phoenix Army is continuing to figure out, ay malalaman natin in just a bit on how they will recreate. I'm still not sure how they will, like focus on things, pero sigurado ako na mas narinis na nila yan over the week.
Definitely. We mentioned the mid-trio. Julian, Vex, and Tigreal can be dangerous for the lineup of TLPH if they aren't
Crowd
careful.
control galore.
Yeah, crowd control galore. But the good thing is you have the passive of the Aurora to potentially negate an early pick-off. Because imagine if they blow their skills a little bit too early, then Aurora still survives. That doesn't feel good.
Gandang graphics yun na MPL.
Paunahan lang ang mangyari sa ating mid.
Malinis.
And yun na nga, yung ating third keys to victory. Kaya naman makikita na natin in just a while kung sino nga ba ang mauuna.
Seems like the Cavalry and the Phoenix Army are ready for action. Rekta na natin sa game number 1. Casters, kayo naman.
Welcome to the first matchup of today. It's TNC Pro Team going up against Team Liquid Philippines. A best of 3, a race for the Phoenix Army to get points while the Cavalry will keep on.
Technical issue pa ata.
Leo here at your service alongside Jose Ingan. The draft was a good back and forth. Again, early on it started with a blitz, but I'm already picking out a few points here. Number 1, Liquid PH stole away the Aurora.
Stole away the Aurora, and at the same time, it's interesting to note that JP still using the same hero after 4 games. We're in week number 2, and we have yet
Go
to
ahead.
see the other JP heroes that really excel or show his performance with the role.
Go ahead man,
The Land of Dawn. TNC again looking to win their very first game in game number 1.
Come on, Daddy JP, show us something new. First pick the Jawhead in Kazakhstan, showing us shades of a brand new meta on the horizon, and we are knee-deep in that right now. It's still surreal. Can I just say?
Doon ako nanood sa laptop, Mrs. Boss.
In an MPL
Okay.
stage.
Kahit saan, okay lang yan.
Like I believe the last time that he was here, TNC had a good run. I believe they finished 3rd or 4th.
That was
if I'm
season
correct.
10.
Season
That was
10,
season 10 he was here. They struggled, and then he spent a good year and a half elsewhere, and now he's back home. Good folks watching from all around the world, welcome. Not much action yet currently in the first minute of the game, but look at this huge presence from TNC in mid.
Yeah, and we can see that TLPH really will still go with their usual flow. They actually have a 100% first blood rate. 2 went to Carl TZ and 1 with Sanji. So we can expect them to really be aggressive, especially since, Jawhead has been picked here again for JP. And in terms of weight,
Si Ryzen nasa MPL mena na, no?
The
Ryzen.
aggression of TNC is showing there as well as TLPH. And as I was saying, it's easier to go for those isolated pickoffs when you have the Jawhead compared to the Tigreal. So I can really expect TLPH to not.
Di yata sanay si Ryzen sa ay si...
Oh,
Sino ba to?
I reckon.
Si Kaysen?
I reckon.
Sa Assassin meta?
They're pushing TNC's buttons, but it seems like they won't allow these buttons to be pushed not so easily. Because again, TNC, they're sticking to this 3-man trio, and amongst a Julian, a Tigreal, and an Aurora, that's a lot
Oh,
of
yun
damage.
eh!
Oh, look at that! Escalera with a beautiful pickoff! And now JP's the
Nice
man,
one.
first man down here. First blood is
Licker?
for TNC. And this time, TLPH, they're 100%
Licker
pickoff
knock
rate
up.
with the first blood is now demolished by the Phoenix Army.
And TNC took out of the equation.
Lakas ng TNC, early. Kasi di ba...
Oh, Carl TZ wasn't able to
Huli,
get
huli.
that away. Penalty zone in once again. And it looks like Carl TZ.
Ah, hindi tumama ulti Escalera.
Last effort. He's gonna fall down as well. Sanford was able to flicker out, but here comes JP going right after.
Puta, tinapon si SDGYC.
As well. I think the damage is not gonna be enough, and TNC turns things around as they take another man down.
Daniel Chu, where were you all these years? I know exactly where you were.
Daniel Chu.
Malaysia, but also Egypt. But no, he's a man on a mission. I am so happy seeing TNC this aggressive this early on. Shades of this we saw in week 1, and now with the right draft, with the right rotation from their trio mid, it seems like they can take down TLPH a good notch. I wonder where the Cavalry goes from here, because again, they can't just go off JP anymore.
Yeah.
And this is one of the main weaknesses of a Jawhead lineup. It was a good couple of coaches I talked to in the offseason saying, yeah, Jawhead is great, but if the Jawhead is on the back foot, there's very little he can do.
Oh, speaking of back foot, Escalera's really been doing a good job here, making sure that JP doesn't get in the position that he really wants. And at the same time, I believe TLPH can actually turn things around, especially in the middle game, with how TNC's been performing recently. They've always dominated the early game, but for some reason, they just boil down into the mid game.
They have that. They do have that. That has been a chronic disease that has been ailing the Phoenix Army.
Yeah.
Wherein
Vanderbilt.
9 minutes, 10 minutes
Agad kay Sanford.
they seem to slip up and they get punished so hard. I'm wondering if the Cavalry's going to find that out. 3-1 here, just under 4 minutes in. Looking at the major goal differences lane per lane. This is odd. Look at Benny Cutie. He's up 400 away from closing. Oh, wait, look at this!
Oh, I think the first target here is going to be...
Huli na naman.
Onto JP. And this is what you were saying.
Nice one.
Pull off
Ba, si Heads ah. Naka 3-0 na si Heads ah.
Getting picked off all the time.
Last time we saw this was Season 8. The Tigreal and Jawhead, wherein the Tigreal would be more than happy to be thrown in the thick of things because he'd been...
Pag itong lineup ng TNC nanalo, matik. Hanggang playoffs na yan.
Sanford goes in, but on the backline, it's gonna be heads, but the penalty zone into Carl TC. Like his pounce is there.
Gulpe, si Sanford. Puta, apat. 4v1, nakapatay pa isa.
Escalera's gonna fall as well, as long...
Oy, JP.
Not gonna connect with the ejector. And now TLPH on the driving here. I think this is the power spike that TLPH is waiting for.
And this is enough for TLPH to score what we call in the business a technical knockout. They didn't get many kills on the way out, but they pushed TNC far back enough to get a free turtle. 1-for-1 apiece now 5 minutes in.
I mean, Sanford, the performance of Sanford so far is great. The Flicker and Earth Shatter combination, as long as making sure he utilizes the passive of the Edith before casting that Primal Wrath. Although he was taken down, he was still able to take down Escalera. And it was up against 3 members of TNC. 1-on-3. So that was a huge play coming in from Sanford.
He lasted 2 seconds longer than any one of us could. It's amazing what Team Liquid PH have done. And now, they have undone TNC's gold lead from the early game, leaving the laning phase
Puta lamang na agad Eko.
mid-game.
Tumingin.
We can look back
Tumungo
and
lang ako, lamang na.
could afford to die anyways.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
all of the members of Team Liquid, JP was the one who really did not mind.
Maybe Sanji, as long as he has the pride device. But in this case, JP is really doing his job, soaking up the damage. And Escalera here. Oh, is he gonna spot us?
Wala. Oy!
Oh! But Sanji smells it, that's why he was able to flicker out. Here comes Heads with the penalty zone once again.
Putang
Friction
ina,
Breaker
hindi na nakagalos.
back. And look at JP right after Escalera, but Sanford is
Hindi na nakagalos si Sanford.
Are they gonna pick up Escalera? I think not, and this time TNC
Punong-puno ng sisi.
manages to switch things around and regain the lead once again.
That's what you call a heads-up play.
Heads up play from Heads.
He did not hesitate. Went in for the penalty zone, which was a raw penalty zone, Jose. Can I just tell you? His flicker was off of cooldown, so he hit the full-on distance between him and his target just with sheer courage. He was just bold enough to say, you know what? I'm gonna get you. And they did get Sam.
Pag ganyan nakakalamang kalaban, nagpaplano na naman ng ano yan. Backdoor si Benny.
I think they know
Backdoor na naman, nagpaplano na naman yan.
to pick off at least one member before engaging in the turtle fight. And now TLPH this time still in full control. I mean, the position is nice here for the side of the cavalry. But look at this, Escalera still managing
Inuli
to
na
find
agad si
Lancer.
JP.
That's one initiation down in
Yun
front.
lang.
Frazier has casted as well. This time JP picks up one member. Heads has to back away. And the Spear of Destruction. Moskov will bring down JP. And now TNC on the attack. The Phoenix Army right now making noise.
Call it a bullseye. The fight continues.
Walang ulti.
Sanford picks up Escalera here.
Lugi.
But TLPH manages to bring him down as
Putang
well.
ina, walang ulti.
Alongside Heads. Sanford with a crucial Primal Wrath once again as Carl Teasy, the birthday boy, belated happy birthday by the way, takes down the turtle.
Interesting how in a turn of events, Team Liquid PH saved their marbles for a rainy day. They did not activate Carl, they did not activate Benny Cutie up until it mattered. And right then and there, when Heads and Escalera went down, there was no front line for TNC, and that's what opened up the final turtle for the Cavalry to take over. Ingan, I hate to say it, but you said it. It happened. There is a mid-game point wherein Liquid PH would hit that power spike, hit that
Lumaban, walang ulti.
window of opportunity where TNC would
Sayang.
have to do it all in or not.
Tuloy agad
They
lamang.
missed it. Now there's a 2K gold lead for the defending champions.
Yeah, and actually look at JP's stat line 040. That's actually misleading, okay? Because you can see that he's doing his part as the roam.
That's
he's
his
able to displace Escalera. Whenever he checks his brushes, Escalera has to back away and at the same time soak up the damage. And Escalera actually used the implosion play onto JP. That's why TNC had no way of re-engaging with the fight once that seal has been casted.
Not just JP, he even did it to Sanford.
Yeah.
And Sanford is more than welcome. There is a 2-layer insurance policy for Team Liquid PH protecting their cores. And they have 3 cores. Oh, look at this!
JP with a conceal. Where are they gonna get target? Hatred is the first.
Ulti na! Putang ina, ba't lagi si J?
On a rampage. 2 members have fallen here. Make it 3. STZYZ goes down.
Ba't lagi si JP? Escalera.
Escalera, no more members left with him. He's gonna fall down.
Sana trigger ka agad sa gitna. Oh, dami, 4 yun, oh.
TLPH marches forward.
Kuwang-kuwa mo.
The bench. It's Kozin you're looking for.
Oh, sorry.
It's a 4 for none. And off camera, Kozin was just working the turret. Once more, let's break down that engagement up top. An amazing initiation by Team Liquid Philippines. And again, already that's where it all crumbled down for the Phoenix Army. They were just reacting, and they were spread out too far, too thin for Escalera's amazing set to matter. And because of that, it's what they call in the Philippines an audition. They all stepped in one at a time.
Step up, but JP manages to throw heads once again as they take the first Lord. JP doing wonders for TLPH now.
That's a struggle for TNC, man. They can't throw hands because they get thrown heads.
Yeah.
And that's one frontliner that they need. SDZYZ can sure come in, weave through with an enhanced sword, dash in, dash out, but you really need 2 frontliners, 2 chunky boys to break through what JP and Sanford are doing.
And I actually like what you mentioned a while ago about TNC being reactive. Because even Sanji is reactive. He has to wait for the implosion or even the penalty zone. And once that's been casted, he's just going to cast a Frigid Glacier. That's why the counter attack of TLPH is really executed to perfection.
It's a catch-22 for TNC.
Yeah.
They can find Benny, they can find Sanji, but Sanji has 2 layers of protection. The Flicker and the Pride of Ice. Not even a Purify. He could have purified it. It would have been so much easier for him. But instead, he chose the more aggressive battle spell.
Ay, nagal kay JP sa Escalera. Kaya nga eh. Lagi si JP ang inaano niya. Kaya naman niyang plikiran yung 4 eh. Di ba? Puta kay si JP pa yung napili. Siguro iniisip niya, pag nakuha niya si JP, medyo magalangan yung yung TLPH mag-engage. Baga sisirahin niya yung yung initiator. Baka ganun ang gusto niya. Ay kaso, dun sa huling play, lahat nagkakagulo na eh.
That's why it's 0-4.
That's why it's 0-4-4. They can't manage to get to Benny Cutie because of JP.
And the whole map acted as a shield for Benny Cutie, right?
Yeah.
It was so difficult for TNC with that heavy trio, mid and even heads to find one target. It wasn't worth it for the Phoenix Army. I think this is something that the analysts can break down later on in further detail, but that was the crux of it all. TLPH have spread their eggs enough in many different baskets that the Phoenix Army can only really chase one. And I think that's a stroke of wisdom from them. You know what they say about chasing 2 rabbits?
Yeah.
You can, was it rabbits or ducks?
Ducks. I think it's rabbits.
Ducks or rabbits.
They stuck to it, and TLPH punished them for doing so.
Making sure that they react to TNC to how they really want them to react. They're really dictating the pace, dictating what TNC wants to do. And now TLPH just really, honestly, they're just waiting for formalities. They're just waiting for the Lord at this point.
And this is a Lord that should come easy for the Cavalry. Something to note, TNC can still find a way out. Number 1, take down JP for free.
Yeah.
Take him down for free. Sanford especially. Take those 2 down for free, costing relatively less than 2 ults and maybe a battle spell. That's it. Tops economy. But from there on, don't even think of finding Benny Cutie. Like that is a
That's not top
moonshot.
1. Yeah.
That's a tall order. Maybe you take down 40, Carl and JP. Those are your 3, and then you can go from there.
Oh, wait.
Kozin's found out.
I think they're gonna spot out where Kozin's hiding.
He had to spend his Purify.
Oh no, this is crucial. TLPH, they were able to force TNC to expend battle spells without even actually initiating anything or expending anything. But Escalera, they got the cancel. Implosion wasn't cast in there.
Wag!
TLPH
Wag!
on the counter attack.
Yun, wala. Nice one. Puta, si JP pa rin kinuha ni Escalera.
First man down, but TLPH still being able to dish out the damage.
JP pa rin.
That's one member down for TLPH, but will TNC contest for this Lord?
Oh no, it was a trade, and it was well worth it. Daddy JP for the major objective. I'll take that any day. Twice on Fridays.
But bang! One more to bring down the head. Luckily, they were able to survive that. Now transitioning here to the middle.
Palagpatin siya rito kahit lamang na lamang TLPH siya.
From their last game wherein he sacrificed himself for Omega to secure an uncontested Lord. And that was the plan after all for TLPH. Make sure that JP expends his flicker, overextends, and TNC focuses on him instead of the Lord that TLPH was getting.
If you check the receipt, JP would be free, asterisk.
Yeah.
He wouldn't really be free. You spend a couple of ults and you open it up for the contest. And now that's what we're looking at. A Lord in mid, a false engage down bottom, 14 minutes in. I'm seeing at least 2 inhibitors falling, Ingan.
2 inhibitors, maybe 3, but I'm sure TLPH wants to look for a pickoff here. Sanford leading the charge. Oh, look at the damage coming in from Carl Tizzy. Escalera really not managing to defend.
Hey, ni Rose Gold.
And now they're able to bring down the middle lane here, transitioning into the top lane. But I still think TNC, they still have it in them to defend this attack.
It's not over till it's over. 2 more inhibitors stand, and there wasn't much of a wave down bottom either. Liquid PH only take down mid, the main artery. If anything, I'll count TNC's blessings for him. This is the best case scenario. You would rather lose mid in a situation like this than you lose either of the outer lanes.
Agree. Especially when it comes to the Lord dances. And you only lost 1 without suffering any casualties. At this point, Escalera still has his flicker and Implosion Placer. They can still manage to get the pick off. Even just JP. That's good enough, especially if you want to contest for this Lord.
Let me add to the wish list for the Phoenix Army. It's not impossible that they set up a backdoor play. Number 1, looking at the long lane, that is bottom lane, and there's just but the second tier turret and then the inhibitor from there. So what you could do as TNC is feign a Lord contest, feign a fight, so that you give Kozin enough time to maybe break down the inhibitor there.
But again, the problem is TLPH, the masters of the backdoor. They were able to pull off one last week.
Bilis ah. Anong bilis? Ikaw na pala yung boss. Ang bilis ba?
It's gonna be hard to pull
Ang bilis matambakan.
Takes one to no one. But there is one
Tambak
advantage
ulit.
he can leverage besides the whole knowledge and muscle memory for TLPH to do such. Their lineup is built for that. Look at this, between Tigreal and a Teresa. Oh, JP!
The robot's running right after heads, but Escalera oh, the flicker play was there! And now TLPH. No resources expended here for TNC, but that was still a death evaded for JP. That was a good try, though.
I know, that was a TikTok attempt.
Yeah, TikTok attempt.
As the kids like to call it. It's the flicker animation cancel into the Unstoppable Force ejector. Yeah, that was a close call. But that is one thing that TNC does know very well. So Escalera, great heads-up play. Heads knows too, but what's commendable is Heads did not commit his flicker. He could have gotten so shocked and scared.
Yeah. Especially since that they really want to pin
Nagbabap ba yung stream, boss? Yung stream nagbabap? Yung parang bumabagsak yung frame drop.
Alright, Lord here at a third of itself, an eighth, a fifth. Not healing.
Parang nabagsak.
Oh, it's going to be a retribution battle. Going to go on to Carl TZ, but a counter-attack for the Phoenix Army is there. But look at Kozin going right after in the
Nice!
But Benny Cutie still manages to
Subos,
take down
subos!
damage and bring down SDCYZ for
Sanji, oh, putang ina.
Sanji going right
Patay na
after
si
the
Carl,
back
patay
line
na.
here inside Carl TZ. He's going to get pinned down by Escalera.
Wala.
Is the damage going to be enough?
Putang ina, nalugi pa sila kay Sanji.
Gets the Lord and the kill.
Great rope-a-dope there by Sanji, keeping himself safe. Expending the flicker, but not the pride of ice. Use that purple buff wall to elude TNC. That was close. If they lost Sanji, that would have been 2 things. Number 1, huge shutdown gold for TNC, and this would have been a less lethal Lord push. Now back to the, I'd say, possibly the last push, right? If TNC don't defend this,
Third Lord.
they're fine. I think Sanford being out is a blessing. This is fine.
Oh, Conceal coming in from Escalera. They really want to go right after Carl TC here. They were able to burst out the Lord without inhibitor turrets taken down. still TNC was able to defend it. And I'd like to go back to Sanji, because if you've seen the last clash, Sanji, we keep saying this even during international tournaments. Sanji's one of those mid laners that uses his flicker not to retreat but to attack. That's how courageous, that's
Ganda
how
ng laban.
powerful Sanji is whenever
Hindi
he
boss,
gets his comfort
hindi boss,
picks.
nakatakas pa.
And looking at the KDA, 406.
Ganda ng laban sa kabila, Onyx sa Geek Pam.
The Pride of Ice was ever expended? The whole game?
It wasn't. Hasn't been. He's been a third of his health down.
Wow.
The furthest. And it was in that sequence, and then he's fine, he's safe. So now 8K ahead, 18 minutes in, we are approaching the upper limits of what a game should be in the current meta game. In a professional MLBB, about a minute until the next Lord. And I'll tell you now, Ingan, more now than ever, I think this is a Lord that's actually contestable for TNC. The longer the game goes, the more items are put onto TNC, despite how miserable and how deprived they are of gold and XP in the elapsed time so far. And it's going to get closer and closer to deadlock. And the fact that they only lost mid lane inhibitor means the map is still slightly favored for them.
Plus, again, they have the Moskov, one of the late game gods that can actually
PLCK.
manage properly. But
Umiyak kay
it's still be in the
Venus.
clash, especially if the
Page stream.
So
Wag,
TNC, this is where they want to prove the doubt.
Support pa rin tayo sa
People have
PH.
been saying that
MPL
they have
PH.
closer. They can close games. They can start strong, but this time with the circumstances being slightly in their favor compared to the past games, I think this is the perfect time to show everyone that TNC can really bounce back and close games.
Here's hoping SDZYZ can pull a second wind because he had a great start. 3 minutes in, was calling all the shots. Now approaching the 20-minute mark. Can this Julian come in clutch? Can SDZYZ steal away a Lord from Carl Atizi? So far, so good. Just
Take me ba na to? Parang nabagsak yung frame rate.
An evolved Lord. It comes with the passive. It's gonna hurt more.
Jeez, hindi ba? Hindi ba?
I'm getting flashbacks here.
Parang kasi nabagsak yung frame rate.
They used to face off before Carl became a world champion. Before SDZYZ made his debut in MPL.
This time SDZYZ is saying, I'm back, I'm ready.
Huli na naman!
To find Escalera.
Carl pala yun. Kala ko si JP na naman.
He's gonna walk back there. No death so far now, JP on the counter.
Hindi ata seko dyan. Yan gusto nila eh.
As well as the Primal Wrath and Frigid Glacier. Heads.
Tamang zone eh. Uli.
Sanford flicker in. Frigid Glacier is there.
Aurora.
The throw coming in.
Putang na, wala na magawa Aurora pag dito mamay kills.
Just managing to dish out the
Wala na.
damage from the backline as 3 members of the Phoenix Army will fall down, but on the top lane, Kozin is there making sure that they're able to push an inhibitor tower at least.
Nag-push pa rin si Kozin ah.
Because TLPH wants to make sure that the Crystal will fall down as they take game number 1!
Puta, may pangarap si Kozin.
A base race.
Kozin has a dream.
By both, but the map favors
Hindi na mo eh.
the Cavalry Team Liquid PH
Ang inang yan.
with the victory.
Naka 480 lang ako boss eh. Naka 480 ka lang ba? Todo mo nga boss.
TNC just pulled out all the stops, and that's what the deck dealt to them, and they did what they could.
MLBB proving that this is still a numbers game. And in that case, the bottom push coming in from TLPH, they had the numbers during that time.
Folks, to throw it over to the Infinix.
Putang ina, lakas umasa ko.
Game 1.
Golden ang Geek Pam.
This is the Cavalry coming through in situations like this. Alam nila kung ano yung gagawin. TNC had quite the lead from the first few minutes. But again, dito sa Infinix Game Tambayan, we've witnessed at nakita natin kung paano
forget
ng TLPH ang entirety ng Game 1.
A base race? Like TNC Pro Team really decided to call for a base race. That was one of the riskiest calls for them.
Mga kanta ng matatanda.
Maganda yung naging intentions ng TNC Pro Team.
Maganda yung intention kaso
for the side
wala.
of Team Liquid Philippines na mag-back away.
Wrong timing.
Difficulty, right, with the Moscow because you're always -1. Meaning, ang tendency ng kabilang kalaban, i-run down kayo kasi alam nila na wala yung isa sa mga primary damage dealers nyo. That outplay from Carl TZ doon sa last Lord, hindi siya nabigyan. Kaya naman nakapag-back siya sa base na defend niya while the rest of Team Liquid Philippines went in for the win.
Yun na sana yun eh, di ba? It would have been a turning point para sa koponan ng TNC, but this is the guy The one that got away, I should say. It's Sanji na ang gamit ay yung kanyang Aurora, the MVP of Game 1.
Yeah, the one that got away and the one that they really just couldn't get. Antianar, you pointed out something about the passive of Sanji. Would you like to repeat it for our viewers?
Okay, kung hindi nyo po nabalikan,
Ayun o! Puta si JP sinitan!
lang nag-proc yung Pride of Ice ni Sanji. And it wasn't even that he was playing safe. Ang ganda lang ng pwesto niya to the point na kahit mag-flicker in siya, hindi siya naaabot ng koponan ng TNC Pro Team. And Hans, you were mentioning this bago tayo mag-start dito sa ating Infinix game tambayan, na early game, nasa TNC Pro Team. But Renmar, second and third turtle, doon na nag-start yung kalbaryo nila.
Yeah, one of the trends that I saw in this game was that for the shorter team fights, for the ones where it would be TNC getting the pick off, the one getting the first vision, and the one who will get the first kill.
720 boss, wala namang frame drop.
But the longer the team fight
Meron.
goes, TLPH just shows how
Sige.
damn good they are at fighting.
720 lang ba todo nito?
Reposition in mid-team fight.
Parang hindi ko ba natudo ng ano?
TNC
1080p?
expects them to go back a little bit just because that they've lost one. And that's one thing that I felt like was hanging over TNC. The entire game number 1, it felt like as the series went on, they started to overthink a little bit more of, oh wait, do we fight now? We have to watch out for the Edith. Can we even reach the Aurora? We're up against a Roger. It seems like, yeah, the lineup of TNC is easier to pull off. TLPH, though, they have so many things for their lineup that TNC needs to overthink.
Yep. Kaya nga, nakita natin best exhibited yon ng Second Lord, kung saan na-pick off ng TNC Pro Team si JP.
Yeah.
But then what happened is, because they were overthinking, na nagkakaroon ng difficulty
Putang
for them
ina.
to move forward. Kasi kahit lamang sila in terms of numbers, meron, kumbaga,
Item.
hanging at the back of their minds na, paano kapag na-chain crowd control tayo? Paano kapag hindi tayo nakapag-free hit?
Oh, by the way, that's an Aurora with a Sky Piercer. In my head, I was thinking, is that right? But yeah, it is. I mean, they couldn't take out the Aurora. I think it was the third or fourth item that Sanji ended up, the third item that Sanji ended up building.
Pero isa nga lang eh. Yun lang yung katangi-tanging time na nag-proc yung passive, just like what you said.
Yeah.
So, aside from the point na medyo naging maingat at naging sobrang kalkulado yung galaw nitong si Sanji, TNC was also thinking about the 7K gold lead na tangan.
Tang ina, binigay yung hari ti CW.
Reason why they went for the Lord. But again, strength in numbers. That's what you would expect from TNC. They have the
TNC, manalo naman kayo!
alam mo na
Parang kay Boss Wolf.
for team fights.
Yeah. For TNC,
Baka matanggal agad si Boss Wolf
again,
niyan.
they were thinking about multiple conditions. Number 1, will JP conserve his ultimate or use it from the beginning? And most of the time, it was JP just going ahead into the front line. Even though he gets taken down, classic roamer mentality, ako na lang, wag naman yung ano, yung ate ko. Ako na lang yung kunin nyo. And that's what they did. After that, you have to overthink the Edith. Will she have the primal wrath stacks? Then you think about the entry of Carl TZ as the Roger. Then you think about, see,
Ang dami.
there's so many things they have to overthink.
And again, dito pa rin pumapasok ulit yung fact lang na kahit strength in numbers, dahil ang dami yung kailangang i-overcome, that makes you second guess. And yung span ng second guessing ngayon, yun yung time na biglang, ay, umaari ba pa pala yung kalaban? Kaya pa pala nilang pumalag.
Now that brings me to the point na di ba hindi nga na-convert yung kill dun kay Carl TZ that one time. I felt like even when Carl TZ was down, mahihirapan pa rin sila to actually secure the Lord just because of the way that they're approaching things. The way that they're trying to force those team fights alone.
Yeah, and there were two major plays, Andy and I touched on it earlier, that second Lord wherein they already picked off JP and they decided to back off to altogether help clear back a little minion wave, which TLPH said, yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and rush the Lord. And then that last play, with Carl TZ already brought low, with your Moskov up top, split pushing, why didn't TNC pull the trigger and say, yeah, let's just go fight this in the Lord? Because Kozen's already pressuring the side. There were so many times where I'm wondering, TNC, why don't you want to commit?
Kaya nilang kontrolin yung Lord fight at that point. Ang naging parang caveat lang talaga ay walang ultimate, walang implosion doon yung Tigreal. So I guess that's what made them hesitate with that entire play. But still, again, we have been mentioning na kahit strength in numbers, hindi na strength in numbers, 4 versus 4 na lang yung kaganapan na yun. And even then, yung chain crowd control coming from the
Pulito
Julian,
si Antiara.
And even from the Vexana, I think those kinds of things are more than enough na i-capitalize ng kupunan ng TNC Pro Team para in a way, makahawak ulit sila ng kakaunting espasyo doon sa laban.
Yeah, honestly, this is gonna be a lot to untangle, a lot to unfold para sa Phoenix Army. But you can also have to give it to the side of Team Liquid Philippines kasi sobrang ganda ng kanilang naging execution. Especially from those turtle fights na napansin natin right from the start,
Second
right?
and third
I mean,
turtle
second
talaga.
and third turtle, parang doon nila biglang nag-flip yung switch.
Tang ina, ang galing ni Aboy, na-dep pa niya.
And this is what we see and what we get from a team that's been playing together for a long time. Chemistry is
Na-dep
the
pa
main
niya, oh.
question hanging above this entire season.
Nakikita.
One of the main things. And it just goes to show how well Team Liquid PH understands, number one, as a team, how the other members of your team will want to play. Who will position where? Who will decide to go forward? The strengths of each abilities. And who is going to get targeted, who they're going to target. The more we talk about this, parang sinasabi natin na, ay, posible dito ng mga comeback TNC. Hindi naman eh.
Totoy!
It's that we have to acknowledge the fact that TLPH just showed at the moment that you mentioned, there were times where they just said, wait, TLPH tayo, we're TLPH. Why don't we just fight this?
I think that's exactly what I saw the one time na si Escalera nandun sa ilalim ng Torre and then everybody else was just juggling for damage na no one was taking, no one was, you know, dying as of that moment. They were just having the right amount of execution and that's what that chemistry.
Gulpi yan sa MPL ID po.
Transitioning to the gameplay and we've seen JP na sige, kahit mawala ako dito, basta may alay akong isa sa inyo, that works for all of us,
Yeah,
right? It's for the greater good of this team.
Oo. Pati nga rin, no, yung first turtle, yung fact lang na napanghawakan yun ng TNC Pro Team was more testament enough na kaya nilang pumalag.
Spicy!
Again, dito bumabalik.
Para naman magkaroon ng hype. Spicy naman, spicy.
Kung sino yung kailangang i-target, naka-double kill si Sanford, third turtle if I remember correctly.
Mas maganda siguro pag-usapan dyan yung mga maling play.
Nagkaroon ng si Benny Cutie to
Ha?
reposition
Kasi
himself.
pag puro,
The 5th minute mark, that's after the second
parang puro compliment, boring eh. Maganda yung parang ganito, mali yung pagkaka-play, mali yung
Giba yung dalawang lane.
Ha?
Tapos yung natitirang
Yan hindi mo naman, hindi ibig sabihin parang sinisira mo yung player. Baga, yung mga maling play lang, yung wari. Bakit si Escalera lagi, ay si JP lagi inaano ni Escalera, mga ganun, di ba?
Dito mismo.
Bakit si JP lagi inuultihan ni Escalera? Bakit nag-push focus na daw to, no? Mas maganda siguro pakinggan. Ay, mas maano panoorin, no? Spicy.
Makikita nyo na kagad ang freshest faces natin in the audience. Hala, si Auntie Anara talagang sinulit yung time.
Sulit na sulit ang airtime.
I mean, fresh cut.
You know?
Cut. Okay, I see it.
Index Salon.
Plus 10,000.
Yan.
Okay,
Arahan nyo kami.
okay, sige,
Ay,
ayan.
pa tayo.
Yan ang aura. Yan ang aura talaga.
Pinakita yung Versace.
Okay, I see everything. Alright, you love to see it. And of course,
I
I love
see
the
the
fresh
monster.
Fresh cut mula sa ating mga ayan, shoutout din sa ating mga student leaders mula sa TUP. Pero ang hinahanap natin ay yung fresh face. Eto na ba yun? Ikaw na daw yata to. Ikaw ang freshest face natin sa audience for today. Thank you so much for supporting MPL Philippines and nagpapasalamat din ang TNC for your support. You'd love to see the audience as fresh as they are and I'm sure that they are enjoying what is happening. Pero para sa dalawang kupunan, I feel like Team Liquid has more of that enjoyment factor. But knowing them, job's not
Para
finished.
maiba naman, matindi ang ano?
Fresher. Although,
Parang kasi, parang totoo lang, hindi naman, parang nakaka-boring pag
the time when
papakinggan mo lang, parang papakinggan mo lang laging yung mga goods, mga general. Maganda yung mga naman, yung mga mali.
It was still there, but they just
Bagay, yan ang trabaho nila eh. Baga parang,
we were reminded that
ako siguro magnadyan, no? Hindi, mali yung ginawa nila. Tangina mo, kala mo, analyst talaga yun.
Step C. Okay. Leading to step C, you can go off to the side and do other things and make it not so obvious what you're gonna do.
Now, I'm so glad that you've mentioned more about Season 9 and Season 10 because if we remember correctly, napag-usapan din natin si SDZYZ. This is his first game back after not being in MPL Philippines. Like, how how do you prepare yourself mentally for game number 2? Kasi that was a win for you guys in the early game, and should you have taken care of it, diba? Things would have been completely different. So if you're SDZYZ, what can you do at this point? How will you get the first win para sa Phoenix Army?
Reset agad. Parang yun talaga yung best thing, no? Na pagkatapos nating balikan yung nangyari noong game number 1, kailangan we see what we did great. And then yung great na yun yung kailangan nating i-capitalize on as we head on to game number 2.
Yung mga term na dapat ganito, ginawa niya, ano, ganun. Dapat mga ganun eh. Masyadong formal eh, no? Masyadong casual.
Yun yung kailangan nilang i-replicate all throughout while looking out for what's bound to
Kaya yung iba, mas
That's not just advisor analysis from Antianara the analyst. That was Antianara the former collegiate.
Mute po talaga, idol. Ano? Mute?
You played in college, right?
Yes!
Yeah.
Anong mute? Mute po talaga,
I
idol.
remember we'd play custom games with Antianara, and every time
Anong
Antianara
mute?
was
Di
in
naman
the
ako
team,
nakamute, ah. Nakamute
opposite
ba ako?
side, I would cry. No one can play against his mid lane.
Yeah, but if you're his teammate, then it's an
Di naman ako
obvious win,
nakamute, ah.
right? So you kind of have mixed emotions about
Okay,
it.
back to the draft!
All right,
Come on,
back
man,
to
we're
the
building
draft.
you up.
We're hyping you up, man.
Boss Wood! Galingan mo
But
naman.
again, just like
Ako,
what you
galingan
were
ng
saying,
players.
One of the good things na sinabi mo nga, Auntie Anara, is to look at what SDZYZ
Ang
has
ito.
done. And for-
Kikita mo pa rin yung optimistic kay Boss Wolf, eh, no? Kay Opti, eh. Basta ganun. Kung hindi nawawala ng ano,
That's nice, right?
hindi nawawala ng,
Ruby, posibleng makatulong yan para sa
hindi na panghihinaan ng loob.
Yeah.
Lagi nakangiti, eh.
They go for the Zask now, and after TNC Pro Team locked in the Ruby and the Ling, Wolf rubbed his hands together as if like he was either excited or expecting it. Yeah, it's like he's cooking something up. But I like seeing the Ling up against
Bardagulan sa analyst
Pero
box.
alam mo, gusto ko lang din i-bring up yung fact nun.
Diba?
I
Sabi,
would say this...
wala nagkakwento. Ba't ganyan si Kusin? Dapat hindi na nag-split si Kusin.
Gold lane. Feeling ko lang.
Gold Ruby.
Anong, may hadyan, may pangarap si Kusin.
Analysis, let's see if that'll happen. Although that does make sense. You have the Roger that you're up against. So if
Tanga na, pagalita ka ng director niya. Pag ganun pinag-usapan niyo.
that's going to be difficult for either Benny Cutie or Carl TZ to decide to enter the game, to enter fights. So with the Turisla, again, TNC Pro Team are just continuing that trend of play it safe. And you know what? I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards the Gold Ruby side now. Because if you're showing the Turisla, the obvious thing to think is, oh, that's an EXP lane Turisla and that's a Roam Ruby.
Pero yun na nga, yung ganitong klase ng flexibility. Alam mo, Renmar, gusto ko lang din balikan, no? Maraming sigurong nagtatanong from our audience kung bakit nga ba nataguri ang textbook TNC, yung TNC nung panahon ni SDZYZ. Ang dami namang salita.
It rhymes.
Kasi nga, bukod sa fact na siya yung nagpauso nung emblem before,
Oo.
yung Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
Yun din yung time na kahit assassin siya, sinesemi-tank niya yung gamit.
Yeah.
So now na bumalik tayo sa
Oo, yun nga. Yun doon na nga nagsimula tank jungle, eh.
ni SDZYZ.
Na-maximize lang masyado, na-utilize lang masyado ng MPL kaya talaga putahan na pumutok. Season 9 yata pinakamaganda ng TNC, nag-playoff sila eh. Putay lang. Ngayon, wala. Yung tinanggal nila si SDYC, siguro kung binalik pa nila si SDYC, konting patras na process, baka malakas din yung TNC eh. Ganda ng TNC nung nakaraan, season 9 ba yun?
TNC Pro Team up against a Zask.
Pag si JP dapat si ano na.
So TNC Pro Team said, all right, we'll open up the map, but this is a good response to open up the map. They pick up the Fanny.
Carl TZ using a Fanny. We haven't seen this in a while. A lot of people were saying na from the past seasons that he's been struggling na gumamit ng mga assassins. Over the previous tournaments, it has always been like this. Pero ngayon, unti-unti niyang pinapakita. And now, probably one of the hardest assassins to use in the game. Fanny's making an entry for Team Liquid.
And alam mo, interestingly enough, even in his streams, inaamin naman ni Carl TZ na nanibago siya nung bumalik siya sa paggamit ng Fanny. But now that we're back here, definitely nakapag-adjust na si Carl TZ using that Fanny. But then still,
Malakas pa rin naman pa ni Carl TC. Talaga napapatapat na sa mas malakas kay Kyle.
No, it is a gold ruby. What a prediction! It's a gold lane ruby and TNC Pro Team. Good pickup with the Cho. Because you get your lockdown up against that Fanny. This is a risky play by TNC Pro Team.
Kinuha yung Cho, no? Baka mag-XP Cho si Sanford.
Right from the start, diba? They were playing it a bit on the safe side noong game number 1. Now they're going all in on the
Mabagsak ang frame rate ko, ah.
All in now. That's a sudden service
you know what?
Yung Bren nag-trust sa process. Yun talaga ang trust the process, yung Bren. Yung Indo, puta, puro palit eh. Talo ng week 1, palit roster. Tama si Yaoi, talo ng week 1. Palit na sila ng roster. Eh, nanalo na naman yung bagong lineup. Wala mo makabalik si Yaoi yan.
Because what, we have an Edith, we have a Grok na kayang mag-wild charge agad.
Baka mabangko na si Yaoi na ito. Wala na. Baka pag naging malala pa, mag-Malaysia na si Yaoi. No?
Or whether or not TNC will take it. Casters, Vaso.
Leo here with Jose Ingan coming at you live from the Green Sun Hotel in Makati for Game 2. It's match point for Team Liquid PH going up against TNC Pro Team. Shades of the funnel meta. It's a 1-3-1 as we like to call it here for TNC.
For TNC, I like the Ruby Gold because we've been saying that TNC is known for dominating the early game, and with the Ruby, you know, he can actually dominate up against Benny Cutie and make sure it doesn't go to a 20-minute game like we witnessed during game number 1.
That's why I kind of thought twice about it being a risky draft, as mentioned by our analysts, Antianara and Renmar Santa Cruz. Now going from lane to lane, you mentioned how maybe the Golden Ruby should be winning against the Roger, but check this out. SD is bullying Carl TZ out.
Yeah, you know, I have to admit, I've been watching Carl TZ play during his streams. He's been practicing.
Nagliling naman si SDYC. Kailangan kanya ling jungle emblem eh. Ayan eh.
Protection coming in from JP, but speaking of JP, Escalera,
Demon Slayer eh.
sure that JP's not gonna have a good time
Dati.
in the game.
I reckon Escalera could have definitely just pressed the flicker.
Yeah.
Or maybe a second or two off of the Shun Po and just only fasted JP into a quick nap. Now that was so close, honestly. A TKO, I'd call that for TNC.
Again, the onward, the analyst mentioned that, you know, you can disrupt the flow of how the Cho plays, especially if you have an onward. So these two roamers really knowing the capacities and the capabilities of these two heroes.
Yep, let's mind the XP lane this time around. A little bit of spice coming in from the cavalry. Sanford rocking the Grok, as well as the Impure Rage. So he means business. He wants to smack people.
One power of nature is going to be enough to bring down or take down at least the squishy heroes of TNC.
Yep.
So this isn't like a stationary Grok wherein you'll wait for the wild charge. You have to watch out also for the power of nature.
Yeah, if he finds Hatred or even SDZYZ timing through that Tempest of Blades, could definitely get him. Even Kozin has to watch out.
Yeah.
I don't count out the fact that maybe Sanford blows a
Baka ni Dylan.
So maybe even Kozin's
Si James, isang beses lang pinasok.
compromised.
Natalo, yun, palit na naman. Yung E-Boss, nagtatatalo, binalik na naman si Coach Age. Yung mga trust the process. Yung RRQ, maganda ngayon, pinalitan yung buong roster, si Skylar lang tinira. Pero mas maganda galaw ng RRQ ngayon.
But this time, JP with a beautiful Earth Shatter. Here's the Tempest of Blaze that we're all waiting for. Escalera onto the backline, but a wild charge coming in from Sanford. Penalty zone in.
Patay kay Carl!
Both teams
Patay kayo!
fall down as well.
I spoke too soon. I thought it was going to be a relatively peaceful matchup.
The moment you said it,
yeah,
something happened.
Well paced my face, Leo. All right, check it out now. 700 gold up TNC. Heads starting up this turtle. And there's a two-man coalition coming through with two more coming from the back. JP and Penny Cutie still far off.
Oh, here's the flicker,
Here
but
we go.
again, it didn't connect. Oh, it's going to connect onto Carl TZ, but he's going to fall down in the hands of SDZYZ.
Lamang na TNC oh. Kapit guys, kapit. Lamang na TNC.
This is crucial because there's the turtle.
Minsan yung malakas yun sa early. Mga 5 minutes pa baba.
Because he still has to deal with Kozin. And now the scrum for the turtle. There's a Tempest of Blades.
Oh, but he has to walk away because the damage coming from
Escalera, si JP. Oh, kala ko si JP. Huli, Sanji.
target. He's gonna go on to Sanji. And he's gonna take him down as well.
Putang
Heads
ina.
again with the penalty
Walang
zone.
Fury pa yun, ah.
SDCYZ takes care of the turtle, but
Low health, low health.
Easy. Happy birthday. This is
Patay kayo, andyan na si Benny. Mungangal mo dyan.
Gets one like it,
Putang
but
bilis.
no, he needs
Lugi
to
sa
get
lakan.
down.
Tangina, ang bilis. Tangina Roger yan. Dapat yan ang ninenerf
That
eh.
is Benny Cutie, Bagyo del Lobo.
Palagay niya, mas malakas ang mag-assassin yung
A
M2
bout
Carl.
of hesitation. Did you see that? Retribution is not off of
P-
cooldown. What was that? Was he
Malakas yung M2 Carl. Buta, naka-champion yan eh. Na-assassin. Pero pingin ko, mas malakas ngayon yung assassin na Carl.
TNC
Kasi mas matalino na eh.
definitely have walked away with so much more.
Carl din naman nagsabi niyan.
Sure if SDCYZ actually casted his retribution.
Mas matalino na ngayon yung assassin na Carl.
He could, yeah. But Carl
Saka mas malakas na yung mga kalaban ngayon.
he was taken
Di sa
down.
pag-ano, yung katulad ng dati.
The benefit of having
Di katulad ng dati talagang
you can die.
mechanics sa mechanics dito. May halong ano na eh talaga eh. Mas halong utak na eh.
Never even gone. Here's a kick.
Hindi natin sasabi walang utak sila.
Oh, plus the combination with the I'm offended play, but JP still manages to take down. Look at Carl Teasy with the steel cables. Escalera, nowhere to be found.
Jomi wasn't worth it. Jomi wasn't worth it to kick JP. He had so many layers of protection too, not to mention the Primal Wrath and a Flicker. So maybe Escalera was just calling shots wherein maybe TNC couldn't have afforded it.
Yeah, SDCYZ, I believe, has the work right here, so he can dish out the damage, but Sanford, out of nowhere.
Oh!
Hatred has to use the flicker, but still manages to catch him off guard as the Dominator's descent is there to slow things around. And TNC, they really can't find their rhythm here, Leo.
Jose, call it inflation, man. A lot of these retreats from TNC are costing them so much. Look, a flicker away for Hatred just to die. A rotation that costed
Speed up ko lang konti.
and then you were the one who get punished off of Escalera's Way of the Dragon.
Na-late
This is
na
a
pala.
blessing in disguise. They are taking turrets, and that's the first turret scored by TNC down bottom. I guess that's one thing that they
Dalag.
have over TLPH. Sure, as the Fanny, you're very mobile, but when you're looking at just pure damage output without a compromise, without having to move around with the Fanny, I think the Ling has that over him.
SDCYZ really has to resort to split pushing. Again, they can't manage to go head-to-head with TLPH up into the late game because they don't have that gold laner, but here's a diversion play. It's going to be on to Kozin. And that's the beauty of the Zask. You can actually just check Bush from time to time, and then I'm offended play here on to Sanford, but heads going to penalty zone in. SDCYZ casted. 4 blades not going to connect, and JP uses the primal wrath to dish out the damage.
Yung Escalera, naglakad
No
lang.
casualties for both teams. A lot of ultimates expended, and the third turtle is still alive.
This is very deceptive. We're looking at a turtle here that could at any time turn into a lord. Give it about a minute of not being hit. Oh, Escalera! Oh!
Carl TZ with the cutthroat.
He's
Very
trying!
fast right now.
He's trying!
Oh, Sanford. Okay.
He doesn't have a wild charge. Doesn't have a wild charge.
Still a good sign here for TNC. They're able to dish out the damage as well as SDCYZ in the picture this time. But Escalera has to walk away. So, wow. I'm not sure if either of the teams can actually get this turtle with how they keep on re-engaging and engaging.
Nothing comes for free, man. Nothing comes for free. Checking out the items here. That's a Malefic Roar and a blade of Heptases on the Carl TZ. He's up by, he's down by about 200 gold away from SEZYZ's Ling, who just picked up his Haas clause. So if you're talking about sustainability, you're looking at TNC staying a little bit longer. And look at this, the Lord. It's about to turn to a Lord about 10 seconds, but they're still holding on.
10 seconds before the Lord spawn there.
Oh, shit! Wala.
And on to 5
Putang ina,
members.
nagsit sa wala.
No follow-up from the Phoenix Army. They have to walk away, but Sanford catches them off guard. SDZYZ has to make a play here. but
Hello, RTC!
Still alive! Unlike Escalera, he's gonna fall down. SDZYZ has to walk away, but JP says no with the
Putang ina yan si Benny.
on to 2.
Sabi sa inyo eh. Hanggang 5 minutes lang yung lamang ng TNC.
As he falls down, but he takes one with him. Triple kill from Betty Cutie.
3K for Benny Cutie. Oh, what a sequence, especially underneath tier 1 in mid. And no,
There's a play.
Here we go. Oh.
Wow. Carl TZ showing that his prime is still here.
I think they did see the diversion coming through.
Yeah.
And they were just baiting it. And at best for TNC, it was a quick rotation. 2,000 gold ahead. Team Liquid PH. 9 minutes in. The inevitable has come through. The Lord is upon us. So that last hurdle just, whatever. Like, it's just,
Just to confirm, the last turtle.
they use it as an anchor. Like, this is where the fight happens. If you can't commit here, we'll get you elsewhere. And that's what TLPH did. Divide and conquer against the Phoenix Army. And what is baffling to me, Jose, look at this. TLPH, yes, they are ahead 5 kills, but even prior to that big sequence in mid, they were up by like 200, 300.
Yeah.
But it was TNC who owned the map. Look, not a single push for TLPH yet.
And it's all SDZYZ's credit, because he's been managing the waves really properly here. And now it's Carl TZ's turn.
Uli na naman si Escalera, putik na yan.
Gonna catch that Earth Chatter coming in from JP. So I think TNC really needs to mind Carl TZ this time.
Coach Wolf, mag-damage room ka na lang.
Second, third in the top lane.
Try mo damage room.
You have SD.
Malay mo, gumana sa inyo.
Prior to that
Oh,
sequence,
1v1
was
kang
ahead
TC
of
sa
gold
top.
assist.
Oh, kick on to JP here. The primal
JP.
wrath will be casted now. This
JP,
time,
boy
the
pa rin.
counterattack from TLPH. Heads last effort with the penalty zone, but the Dominator's descent will slow him down. They're gonna run after Heads here. A beautiful play coming in from JP as 2 members from TNC goes down.
Man, again, that's deja vu. TNC with the DNC. Divide and conquer. That would have been an amazing setup by Heads, even by Escalera, but there was no damage output. Oh!
What a diversion play here from TNC to bring down Carl. And this time, Benny Cutie, he's going on a rampage. As he
Roger
brings
yan,
down
no?
Kozen. The next target is
Beat.
Hatred. The
Oh!
ball is there, but the flicker will save him. And now Power Nature from Sanford. Is the damage going to be enough? And look at that. A knockout from Sanford.
That's a knockout. Huge clothesline. Could have been an amazing opener for TNC. The I'm offended, you're dead by Kozen. But now, oh no, they're coming in one at a
Putang ina mo,
time!
puno.
Here from Sanford.
Puno, one talis na. Di mo na maka-skill.
Catch him off guard. JP once again with the onward Earth Shatter combination. The clashes never seem to end as TLPH will take this Lord.
TNC may have bitten up more than they could chew. A free Lord for the Cavalry. Looking at the items now, Carl TZ is still behind, all right? Check it out, he's still behind, but where a majority of the gold is in Benny Cutie.
Yeah.
7-0-3 up against Kozen's 2-2-0. And just the back-to-back sequences where Benny scored a majority of these 7 kills should be enough to tell TNC, hey, maybe we shouldn't pick fights. Maybe we should hold off, and maybe this Lord coming up should be a Lord we take inside our base. Which gives you now a head scratcher. What is Hatred to do? Your main thing, your ult, is to put your whole team in a place where you can catch your opponents off guard. But if your opponents know that you're thinking this way, wherein you have to fight underneath your turret, what do?
Yeah, because Sanji is one of the actual good users of Luyi, so they really know.
They know
where that diversion play will be casted. And now JP catch Hatred off guard once again.
Woo!
But a counter attack from TNC will bring down JP.
Putang ina mo. 3-man wild card.
Right after him, and the passive will help him walk away.
Tinunggol niya ng
That's a
Sanford.
1-for-1 trade, but TLPH, they still have the Lord marching in the top.
Di na kaya mag-burst yung edit. Di talaga. May ulti. Pag low health, mag-gusa ka mag-ano, may passive pa.
Combination minions and heroes from the top lane. March! SD, Carl. Oh, they're fine.
Okay.
They're okay.
Carl TZ just really wants to prove that he can really play the Fanny.
Yep.
I remember the first time he unleashed Fanny, he wasn't really contented with how he played.
Yep.
It was really TLPH as a team carrying Carl TZ with this first Fanny game, but this time he's showing that, hey, I can hold my own. I'm a good Fanny user.
Yep, it took him a while. A good solid month we watched Carl TZ's progress working on the Fanny. And now, sitting with a, respectable 3-2-3. The map belongs to Team Liquid PH. Look at this, look at this!
You're not going to wait any longer for Carl TZ here because they're going to bring down Heads.
Uy!
On the way to the backline, Benny Cutie.
Patay si Carl!
Escalera. Is he going to
Putang ina mo, dumikit na passive, tinamaan.
The answer as Kozen really dealing with 2 members here, has to use
Patay,
the
Joey.
Hatred.
Target lang kay Benny.
By Benny. That's 4 members down for TNC.
You can't stop a hungry predator. Benny Curie, 10-0-3. Now they're going to the base. Kozin, can he defend?
5 seconds before Heads comes here, and now an I'm offended.
Whoa!
Last effort.
Putang ina mo, nadali pa yung minions. Nice one.
Coming in from Kozin, that is wild. As
Nice
Heads recovers
one.
his zone, he's gonna chase right after Sanford. The defense of the Phoenix Army, they're still alive.
An amazing sequence, 3 to 4 seconds of heroism from the new member of the Phoenix Army, Kozin, with the defense of a lifetime. He scored 2 kills for his team, and now
Nice
they
one
have
na
a
defense,
second wind. 40, where you going, 40? There's a kick!
Oh, there's a kick onto 40 here, but this time he's gonna be shut down by STCYZ. A counterattack onto Escalera. Gonna use the Tempest of Blades. Carl TZ trying to dish out the damage here. Now this time, TNC, same shades of game number 1. It's just the middle lane inhibitor turret taken down, so they can still contest for this Lord.
All right. If anything, this is closer than anything
Nice
that
tip.
happened in game 1 could ever be. We
Dahil
see
hindi
here
ko sila may
items
pag-asa
being
pa.
picked up towards the twilight of the court.
Pag-asa pa, may pag-asa pa.
Yes, you know what that means, Ingan?
Chill, chill.
He's going to secure more kills. Check it out. That's his final item, dear Lord.
Great Dragon Spear, what a good addition.
And how many, imagine how many stacks his Sky Piercer has, fam. All of them. He has all the stacks.
All the stacks still not being able taken. Oh, Benny has 12 kills. I did not realize.
More than half of those came in after.
Tangin
the
ng
Sky
Benny,
Piercer.
12-0.
Sky Piercer's been nerfed, but with Benny Cutie stat line, there's no nerf
Doesn't seem like it.
with a Sky Piercer.
Doesn't seem like it. A lot of items you should expect as well on SD and Kozin after that moment inside the base where he got a good chunk of shutdown gold.
Okay, Primal Wrath, huh?
Oh,
Has been casted here.
Lord
so
here at a
TNC
5th of
knows
his
that.
health. An 8th, a 10th now.
Oh, it's gonna be a retribution battle between the two junglers. SDZYC might fall down. Carlson's gonna get the Lord. A counterattack from TLPH. Kozin is the next man down. Heads as well. Escalera, nowhere to go. Cause TLPH on a roll. Hatred is the last man down. They're not gonna wait for the Lord. They have minions in the middle lane. And the cavalry marches forward. Still undefeated coming in to week number 2. Liquid PH. What an amazing game!
Despite the back and forth, at the end of the day,
GG, Coach Wood. Putang ina.
trampling through the Phoenix Army in a dominant sweep. Didn't even look like Benny Cutie plays. Look at him, not a sweat.
Not a sweat. The majority of the kills from Liquid PH came from this man and this man alone. Wow.
Ina, sa ito likod ko ah.
Impression of Benny Cutie Roger again.
Stream ko pa kaya yung Blacklist.
What are you talking about? That
Galing
was
nyo.
Renmar.
I thought it was Renmar.
That's right. Renmar would come up and you're distracted away from what we're talking about here. Team Liquid Philippines again.
Putang inang
throws
yun.
another while TNC struggles. Let's go to the stage.
Ganda pa naman jacket at TMC. Watch Wolf! Arbor! Naroon ba tayo?
So props for TNC. This time, there's improvement.
Yeah.
Surely, they're able to do this up against TLPH.
Birthday interview na naman si Carl. Apir mo na, kahit talo, apir lang!
Time is ticking, but we're not out just yet. TNC definitely has some stuff to work out, but I'd say, you know what? These are results in the lab. I'll count it as a win. You know, you gotta look at the silver lining and stay loyal to what you believe in. Here we go, for reals this time around. Let's throw it over to our host, Mara Aquino, with the winning squad, Team Liquid Philippines.
Everybody, let's give a big round of applause to TLPH. Carl, belated happy birthday. First of all, how did you spend your birthday kahapon?
Ano lang po, nagpakain lang po ako sa bootcamp, yun lang po.
Anong kinain niyo ba sa bootcamp?
Mga, kung ano-ano po, pansit, ganun, lechon, dos,
Lechon!
pizza, ganun.
Paldo!
Sana may tira sa mga casters, pati sa amin. Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Thank you po.
So, yung game number 1 nyo, it lasted 20 minutes long. Ito yung pinakamatagal na laro nyo. Bakit bumagal yung pacing nyo during that time?
Siguro po medyo nagkamali po kami ng early game kasi na-invited po ako ng jungle ng early game nun.
Okay. Sabi mo nga nung umpisa din na kailangan mo pang i-improve ang iyong Fanny. Pagkatapos ng ipinakita mo
Balik
kay
ako mamaya
Javi,
doon. May
what do
nambag
you
na
think
yun. Oh,
about
sige.
your performance?
Hindi ko pa alam
Do
kung
you
mag...
think
Ano
na
pa ako eh.
sakto na siya para kay
I-stream ko pa yung
King
Blacklist
Kong
eh.
for your next fight?
Feeling ko po sobrang kulang pa, pero bibigay ko best ko lagi.
Ayun. Nice. And ito naman para kay... Ito kay Sanji. Sanji, your most used was Zask. Okay, kay Zask. How do you feel about this hero? At paano ba ni Zask na-change yung playstyle mo? Oh, Coach! Coach Benny Cutie. Ano? May binubulong. Ano yan? Sabi kasi ni Sanji, anong sasabihin ko? Okay.
Ano po ulit yung tanong?
Okay, most used hero mo kasi is Zask. So, ano bang pakiramdam mo to sa hero na to? Paano nyo na
Beta kasi si Sas.
Ano, gusto ko lang siya gamitin kasi nakakapag-farm yung mga kampi ko.
Ayun, okay. It's just as simple as that. Ano naman kay? Sanford! Sanford! Grok sa XP. Viable ba talaga?
Tapos hindi
to?
tatanong si JP.
Viable ba ang
Pambira.
gumawa nito?
Kakainis.
Hindi po, kahit
Panuhin nyo naman si JP, putik.
Okay. Sa lahat ng mga nag-rank dyan, ano bang payo mo para sa Grok XP?
Tungkol naman kay Johed. Pambira naman.
dapat po matuto muna sila mag-block ng waves kasi sobrang halaga po sa early game.
Kung ginagaya yung style ng MPL, lahat ini-interview. Interview nyo rin si JP.
MPB, can you guys guess who it is?
Tamo, hindi interview si JP.
Alam na nila.
Birthday boy
Let's take
Ben.
a look at the screen. Benny, cutie! Ano sabi mo? Ano sabi mo kay Benny?
Ano po, siya po talaga yung may birthday.
Wala na, na-interview na yung apat. JP, hindi na-interview.
Benny! Oh, ang ingay nila kanina, nag-cheer for you. Anong gusto mong sabihin? Maybe gusto mong mag-shoutout kay 11 also, kay Cheska, and all the fans.
Shoutout sa mga pumunta. Maraming salamat sa time nyo and effort nyo. And shoutout sa family ko kay Ses, kapatid kay Juan. Nanonood sila ngayon.
Happy birthday daw! Happy birthday, Benny! And now, it's time to announce ang winner natin!
Nako, di na naman interview si JP.
Ng 3,000 diamonds!
Para namang mga ano itong mga to.
So we pick a random lucky fan dito sa MPL for every game. Uy, magkakilala kayo?
Hindi po.
Okay.
Hindi, magkaibigan po kami.
Magkaibigan kayo?
Mga clip nga yan.
Tinanggi mo na
Walang interview kay JP lagi.
Naman, sabi magkaibigan kayo.
Wala po, hindi po kami yung kaibigan. Hindi po kami magkaibigan. Kakilala ko.
Lalagay ko, bakit ganito kayo yung TLPH? Hindi nyo man ni-interview si JP.
Okay.
Nanonood po lagi ng MPL.
Every day? Okay, anong gusto mo sabihin? Sige nga, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Tingnan mo sila dito.
Hindi ito troll ha, hindi ito troll.
Isang paborito mo?
Kasi pansin mo, hindi in-interview si JP.
Bakit yan yung pinakamaangas para
Bakit
sa'yo?
ba lagi gawa ni JP? Hindi naman ha.
O, si Carl Tizzy. Punta ka, tabi ka kay Carl Tizzy.
Lahat in-interview. Sanford, Sanji,
Ang pinakamaangas
Benny,
para
BP,
sa'yo.
Carl.
Sobrang galing niya mag-farm.
So,
Sobrang galing mag-farm. Anong wish mo sa kanya? Kasi
tignan ko nga lahat ng interview ng MPLP ng ano, Echo.
Happy birthday sa'yo. Ingat ka pala.
Tingin ka sa kanya, tingin ka. Uy, idol mo to! Ito yung time mo. Sabihin mo yung wish mo sa kanya, wish.
Sana, galingan mo pa sa susunod mong nalaban.
Ayan, congratulations!
Kiss!
Once again, you won 3,000 diamonds!
Uy, 3K.
Alright, thank you so much. You may now exit
Wala na,
the
di na-interview.
stage.
Hindi na-interview si JP.
Congratulations once again to TLPH. You may now take your bow and take your walk of victory. TLPH still with a perfect record. That's gonna be a headache for every team that goes up against them. So we're gonna break it down for you and we're gonna go to our panel. Paso.
The defending champions of MPL Philippines.
Hindi ni-interview si
proving
JP.
why they are still the strongest team, or if not, one of the strongest teams na kailangan pa rin.
Ano next, boss?
gawing strategy
Omega,
ng
saka
mga
Blacklist.
teams for this season, and the MVP of that match.
Break time mo na, break time.
He's the fake birthday boy. I should say. Kasi yun nga yung sinabi ni
Break
Sanford,
time.
na
Chakno yun, chakno.
sa big screen. But his performance is indeed for the big screen. Very cutie.
Oh, you know, I have a very strong opinion about players or anyone who decides to first build Skypiercer. But Benny Cutie showed why
Yeah.
he first built that
Yan, mga ganyang analysis.
And it just never stopped. And because of him, the Roger
Siyempre, confidence si Benny
he was
Cutie,
always
makakapatay
the guy
siya
that TNC just really had no direct answer to other than the Ruby, I guess. Because TNC Pro Team's lineup don't have a hero like a Roger who could just stand there, chase people down, and basic attack them cleanly.
Yung deal damage na continuous, that was Benny Cutie's role in this game. And kahit ina-expect na natin na yung Fanny usually yung mag-clean up because of the Lycan pounds na meron yung isang Roger, plus the fact na for sure naka-full stacks yung Skypiercer na meron siya. It has been easier for Benny Cutie na mag-dish out ng damage continuously and yung mag-clean up for the rest of TNC Pro Team.
And one thing I love about the TLPH draft is that if you look at all the other heroes besides the Edith, they are all heroes who can do things on their own. They can do something on their own, commit a play on their own, even up against two, and you should be okay. You can get something out of it or even buy time. Because of that, TNC Pro Team, their approach to this was very, what we call, front to back. Kung meron ka makita na isa, then laban. Then tuloy. While TLPH, it's okay, tumingin ka dito, pero ingat, yung gilid mo, merong naghahabol sa'yo. There's so many angles TLPH approached from.
Yeah, and speaking of angles, another na nakita natin
Gago,
that
ni-lord
was
bait
very
lang kayo ng
stellar from the
Onyx.
side of the cavalry is their use of Grok. Something that we don't usually see in the EXP lane. Mind asking, kung ano bang nagpaganda sa Grok dito sa lineup na to for
Maganda yung naging thought ng paggamit ni Sanford ng Grok, kaya nga nabanggit niya na kahit kindergarten, kayang gamitin yung hero na to.
Parang di naman.
Pero hindi nga parang hirap nga Kasi yung isa sa mga naging primary roles ng Grok, whenever the Lord appears,
Naka-roam siya, no?
yung
Sanford,
hero
oh.
na paglalabasan ng Lord. Ibig sabihin na de-delay yun and may tendency na kumapal yung minion wave. So kapag nag-Lord Siege na sila, mas makapal yung...
Wala na si Hate, wala nang asim si Hate.
Pupuntahan nung Lord na yun. And kapag nangyari yun,
Lilia na lang, Hate.
for them to take control of the map and at the same time, makakuha ng mga necessary pushes na kailangan nilang gawin.
Next,
Please, yo,
Blacklist
it's
versus
2024. Quick reminder, if
Omega.
you ever see a Grok in the EXP lane building damage items, that's normal.
Yes.
Remember the thing about Grok, for every point of physical attack he has, he gets defense. So it's fine. So for the people in RG who hate on that Grok EXP lane with damage items, I don't understand. It makes sense. Sanford did it well.
In Filipino, bahala kayo sa buhay niyo.
Oh,
Kaya ko lang
exactly.
gamitin.
But yes, ito ang game na nagpatunay that Grok EXP lane does work, and in just a bit, di ba, maipapaliwanag pa sa atin yan lalo ng isa sa mga head coaches ng Team Liquid Philippines, and we will be seeing that in just a bit. And in terms of the lineup, in terms of execution, I know that we've said our piece, but at the same time, just take a look at the kill score, right? It's so rare for us to see yung ganyang kataas na kill score. What do you think led to that? Is it more on the team fight-centric, lahat ng mga laban na nakita natin, or just on the pick-off side?
Yeah,
Mataas na yan, one game lang yan laban.
Mar mentioned kanina, no, yung mere fact na Benny was confident enough to pick up Skypiercer as his first item was testament na kaya niyang panghawakan and i-ensure na makakapitalize nga yung items na yon. And kung babalikan natin, no, Skypiercer, tumataas yung kill mechanic niya every single time na nakakasta ka. So plus 10 lagi. And Lycan Pounds, yung mere fact na may Lycan Pounds na nare-reset after every kill, yun yung ginamit ni Benny Cutie as we head on to this match. And gusto ko lang din balikan yung sinabi kanina ni Sanji in the interview na isa sa mga reasons kung bakit gusto niyang gamitin yung Zas ay stand-alone hero yung Zas.
Yeah.
Yung ultimate ng isang Zas, nagkakaroon agad siya ng ability to protect himself from ganks coming from the assassin jungler nung kanilang kalaban.
And that's what we were talking about. The lineup of TLPH, four heroes have someone who can just really do their own thing. While for TNC Pro Team, they have to layer things well, and that's one of the things that we missed out on. The layering.
Yes.
Heads and Escalera, from time to time, even like the play of Hatred. There needs to be a little bit of a better meshing there. They could time things a little bit better because add the Ruby into the mix there, add the knockup that you can get from a Ling. The crowd control from TNC should have been enough to really give TLPH a lot of difficulty that even though they couldn't directly catch Benny Cutie would have thought twice about
Ano
going
masako
in.
to, lakas.
Kasi kulang yung damage, but then TLPH really just
Kasalanan ng
did
MPL yan.
the right call for it. They were aggressive, but at the same time,
So, compare ko nga yun, yung mga interview ng Echo. Di-interview si JP, nung nakaraan ko pa napapansin yan eh, kahit yung ESL.
We would always say that 30%
ESL!
but 70% is
Tapos,
on the execution. It really matters the most pagdating sa mga ganitong klase.
basta ESL, pati natin, ewan ko, MSC na-interview si JP.
Pull off those plays, knowing that they have a decent
Hindi naman pangit lagi laro ng JP, di ba?
resources para makita natin.
Hindi mo lang, kumbaga, hihingi mo lang,
Would favor.
hihingi mo lang yung konting insight ni JP, di ba?
Kasama ang kasama ang nagbabalik na now coach na si Coach Saire. Coach,
Welcome back.
from Team Liquid Philippines, and of course, Maraki. It's a pleasure to have you here at the panel again.
Sobrang comfy dito.
Oh,
Masarap
I'm
magbalik.
telling you.
Masarap pa magbalik kasi sa lahat ng hindi nakakaalam. Okay, konting kwento kasi you were a player before sa MPL.
Yes. Season 4 and Season 5 from Execration. Kasama ko dun sila Chakno, Eto Max,
Ayun.
and si Hate.
Talo Onik.
Oh.
Tinalo ng Geek Pump. Tayo ng Geek Pump to, lason talaga. Geek Pump, Daryl Poison.
Tak yung magfe-fist bump. Tapos biglang new face.
Out of nowhere.
Okay, bakit ikaw yung nag-fist bump kanina?
Expect ko si Eto Max yung
Ayun. Kaya ikaw ba yung nagsabi na, pwede bang ako na lang mag-fist bump? Ikaw yung nag-request.
si Madam Mitch.
Okay, pero eto, hindi ka nakapag-fist bump with Eto Max, kay Wolf. Pero si Eto Max, nakikinig na yun. Ano ba? Bakit ba? Ano bang gusto mong ipalabas kay Eto Max na siya yung gusto mong i-fist bump? Anong gusto mo bang sabihin?
Wala naman. Siyempre dati as a player kami dalawa. Ngayon naman coach. Parang masaya rin na nandito kami sa stage na nag-guide ng mga bagong player.
During that fist bump kung may moment ka na magbigay ng isang sentence, isang phrase kay Eto Max, ano ba dapat yung sasabihin mo doon?
Good luck. Yun na.
Good luck! We good. Well, I'd like to build up on that as well. Kasi kayo parehas ni Eto Max, dati kayong players na naging coach. And how was that process like para sa'yo?
Sobrang
mahirap ba? How was it going moving forward?
Hindi naman kasi pares din kasi kaming captain. Kaya kami yung nagda-drop, rotation, macro, lahat ng mga strategies.
Oh. Sino mas magaling?
Ayan na.
Yung nanalo siguro.
Sino nanalo?
Say that you're better without saying you're better.
Eto may tanong ako. Parang medyo ano lang tayo, side kwento. Kasi nung MDL Philippines Season 2, nakwento sa amin na apparently board top-notcher ka raw.
4th place.
Fourth place. 2014 electrical engineering.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
So
galing.
bakit pinili mo instead of having a profession in electrical engineering, nandito ka sa amin?
Siyempre, mas malaki pera dyan sa esports.
Passion ko talaga yung maglaro eh. Simula bata pa lang ako. Kaya yung nagka-chance ako naka-stable naman na, pinursue ko naman yung career sa esports.
And we're so happy that you're back.
True.
Masaya kami na after you've pursued what you want, nakuha mo yung EE, now you're practically
Welcome
doing
back.
very well
Yeah.
dito sa Team Liquid.
With a great team. Okay, which team ang susunod? Ngayon nasa MPL ka na, Season 14, ang daming magagaling na koponan. Which team ang someone that you're looking forward to na durugin?
Siguro yung Bren.
Oh, meron ka bang gustong sabihin kay Bren? Bren!
Wala na.
Okay.
Wala. Sa pagtutuos na nila.
Walang ambon.
Bren dahil yung rivalry. Oo nga laging Bren.
Second place
Laging Bren and TLPH.
sa Grand Finals, laging Bren TLPH.
Inikot nyo na yung buong mundo, ginawa niyong Grand Finals.
I mean, at this point, diba, hindi na tayo magugulat because of how well, I'm assuming na na-brief na rin si Coach Saira with the history na meron yung Falcons AP Bren, and Team Liquid Philippines. Pero kayo
Wala si
we're
Coach
also gonna be
TikTok.
briefing you guys kasi
Bumaba na.
meron kayong regalo na gusto nyong ibigay sa mga favorite teams nyo, just like Team Liquid Philippines here and all the rest of the MPL teams. Tara na dito sa MPL Arena at ilagay sa Community Hub Dropbox ang inyong mga regalo. Pwede pa namin kayong imbitahan dito sa Infinix Game Tambayan, just like Coach Saire, para maabot personally ang inyong mga regalo. And aside from that, okay, Mara, can you do a Franco hook? How do you do a skill 1 of a Franco? Yeah, how do you do it?
I love the smell of good powder in the morning.
Matic, Franco mains, obviously, it is your time to shine dahil available na ang bagong MPL exclusive skin na Quantum Vanguard ni Franco sa shop. So hook enemies ala MPL players ala Mara Aquino and get it right now.
All of the good spell powder in the morning.
Streamers from hulaan nyo kung saan.
Adik yan si Franco eh. Smell of powder daw.
Sa Mena, meron pa. Sa Southeast Asia. Yun lang ba? Yun lang ba?
Saan pa?
Hindi pa. At sa North America din. Kasi kung gusto nyo maging
North America? Wala na, bagsak na yun.
Scan the QR code below.
Bagsak na yung North America eh. Sabi ng coach ng Turkey. Are you not learning, guys?
Be an official streamer. Alright? Kasi syempre, we'd love for you guys, we'd love to have insights and gusto namin na makita yung mga reactions nyo sa lahat ng mga intense na mga laban na makikita natin
Malay
moving
mo,
forward.
ma-discover tayo doon.
Diba?
Meron ako gusto isingit na joke na mabilis lang.
Ano?
Ano yan?
Coach, dahil ikaw nag-electrical engineering ka, di ba? At nasa Liquid ka na. Ikaw ang bagong iidolo ng Team Liquid.
Ayos ah.
Thank you.
We leave it at that.
Iidol.
Dito ba ako
Ang MPL Philippines Season 14. Kita-kits sa next match.
Naku, 15 minutes pa, guys. Break time muna.
series that we're gonna have to prepare ourselves kasi magiging intense na naman to for sure.
Yeah, the rivalry of Blacklist International and Smart Omega is historic,
Way
to say
back.
the least. Way back, even though a lot of the main characters of this rivalry have changed for this season, there are some interesting stories and connections between the players that we have now. This generation of the Omega Blacklist rivalry that'll make things still spicy.
Yeah, and honestly, I'd have to focus on the history. Auntie, I'm gonna give you a crash course, okay, on what
Okay.
happened. Kasi last season, Omega's chances, it's all started with last season. Okay?
Ano nangyari?
Omega's chances of qualifying for the playoffs started and ended with Blacklist International. Nagsimula to when Shaq Nu transferred from the MDL to MPL para isweep ang Blacklist International in the 6th week of the
Naalala
regular
ko nga
season.
yan.
Diba? Pero, nagtapos din yon nung na-secure ng Black yung series nila against Echo, na ang tawag sa kanila dati, Echo pa. Kasi all they needed was just one win. Diba? Kung na-sweep man ang Blacklist International noon, it would have been Omega. So it would be one or the other. Ever since then, Omega has maintained its roster and it's doing wonders. Dahil sa kanilang opening week, nakakuha sila ng 2 match wins and they way have won in terms of their last meeting. Pero ito yata yung momentum na pinanghahawakan nila ngayon in terms of what they have as a team.
Oo. Kaya nga, kailangan nating makita na magpatuloy yung pagragasa ng bagong barangay. Especially now, because of the narrative that happened last season. Hindi lang yun yung first time na dininay ng Blacklist International yung Omega. Kasi nung M3
Ang daming
slot,
beses.
nung Season 8 sa MPL, sila din yung kumbaga nagtanggal doon sa opportunity ng Smart Omega na makakuha.
That's the lower bracket.
Yeah, and I also remember Blacklist, sila yung nag-eliminate sa Omega nung play-ins para sa playoffs noon back in season 11. So,
Ang tagal.
ang tagal. So, no joke talaga when we say that this rivalry is historic.
Yeah.
So many things has happened between these two.
I mean,
Guys, not a good
some
pick on
point,
game
diba,
2.
nag-umpisa to sa
Well, alam mo naman si Baloy.
Doon nag-umpisa.
Tingin ko
lahat.
ginamit yung dahil sa link.
And then all of a sudden, there's been some rivalries. We've seen Chuck
Ginamit yung kanya sa
part
link.
of Omega during the first matchup nila kontra sa Blacklist. And then all of a sudden, he's back. Tapos ngayon, panibago na naman ulit, a new code for Blacklist International ang ating makikita. Pero yun din yata yung kailangan nilang gawin. We are still looking for Blacklist International sa kung ano ba yung gagawin nila. What exactly would you do if you're Blacklist International? WWYD. What would you do? Or pwedeng WWBD, di ba? What would Blacklist do? Because as of this moment, we haven't really seen a lot of those victories na kinakailangan nila and they need to at least propel themselves. Kailangan paganahin na kagad nila na yung engine nila para magtuloy-tuloy for the next.
And I think for the Blacklist agents there, I've seen a lot of the pulses of the community, what they've been mentioning online, and I have to agree with them. For me, Blacklist International, because of the roster that they put together, a bigger coaching staff with a lot of new faces for the organization. They have a full 10-man roster, if I'm not mistaken, 9-man. So really, it's expected that Blacklist International will take time to figure things out. Kailangan talaga nila ng oras kasi ang dami nilang mga iba't ibang pyesa na kailangan mo talaga hanapin yung tamang timpla. And spoiler alert, nakita naman natin dun sa waiting screen natin. Meron tayong mga iba, but we will go on to that later on. Blacklist will really take time.
Kung kakaantabay lang nila, kung kakasubaybay lang nila, back lang kayo ng konti. Back lang kayo ng konti, masusubaybayan yan. But as we spoke, or as we mentioned kanina, you're right. At least nakakuha sila ng panalo from last week. They got one game, and that's probably something that they could build on na nakuha nila dito sa Fnatic Onyx Philippines. Pero parang may something eh. Parang may pwedeng lumabas dito sa lineup na hinihintay ng sobrang daming tao.
Ay,
One of
hindi.
those
Yun sa malayo sa malamig paki.
possibly playing.
Yung Vincent, aggressive masyado kahit lugi na sa clash.
Because nabanggit na nga natin na 10
Ay, jungler eh.
yung Copenhagen.
Pero okay naman yung laro niya, game 3.
So, while that gives them
Ngan siya ng ngan.
their players, at the same time, mahirap
I don't know,
din
mayroon po din si
piliin,
Kyrie.
Again, yung chemistry from those 10 players, who do we field in today?
Kyrie yun eh. Yun talaga yun. Puta na.
And I think it's important.
Pero kaya rin ni Balo yun.
International.
Kaya nga nag-aalang hindi pumasok si Kyrie.
Around different.
Alam niya, talagang piplikiran siya ni Baloy.
Nakita niyo naman yung loading screen eh.
Okay.
Hindi na ganun ka siya.
Ano to, highlights?
So we're just gonna tease it a little bit.
If we're black, what would you do?
That team, you have to flex it as early as week.
Yep.
Puta, dito masyadong nagano dyan si ano eh.
MPLPH, we've seen big teams.
Si outplayed.
New lineups until week
Masyadong
4,
nag-push.
and then suddenly
Papalo
middle
sila.
of the season, you're wondering
Biglang
why, how
palitan.
come it took that long?
Yeah.
So it's good that as early as week 2, they're already considering rotating some pieces around. And that's important, especially when you have a historic rivalry up against Omega, because that's one of the mindset things for teams. Eh. It's that
Maganda yung game din ng Geek kahit may miscom. Ano yun?
because that adds them, that gives them that
Halimaw talaga Moscow sa late game, puta.
saying things.
Sa ang ganda ng pagkakano niya eh, no?
Yup.
How would you feel if you went up against DLCK?
Tawag dito?
You'd be inspired, right?
Yung pagkakasibat niya kay Grok, no? Sapul na sapul eh.
Ganong kind ng ano.
He's from Las
Clutch masa ako nga, clutch.
Wala ko comment eh. Tapos ikaw USD. Oh, so iba-iba tayo.
That's exactly why I'm here.
Okay, we wear different colors. But hey, you're wearing my school's colors.
Una, ulam pa.
Continue.
Oh, sorry, eto na nga. Yung ganong klase, especially now, more than ever, urgent na week 2 pa lang makapag-recalibrate na yung team. Why? Kasi nagbago yung point system natin. Hindi na
Yeah.
tayo kagaya before.
Good point.
Na as long as makakuha ka ng game, you get a point. Now, as long as you get a series win, that's the only time that you get a point. So medyo mas mahirap
Dami
makarank
nagbago.
up ng points now.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest X factors here is that if ever we will see Exort playing for the side of Blacklist
If ever.
International,
If ever.
if
Oh.
ever,
If ever.
he's going up against his former team. That is an Omega roster that he's very familiar with. He wasn't there when this roster finally took into shape. Actually, he was one of the players that was sent to MPL.
Yep.
So that they could bring up Andoryu.
Yeah.
Oh,
Week 5
you're
and
my
week
best
6.
friend.
So the experience of Exort coming from Omega should play a factor here for Blacklist International.
Yeah, and not only for Exhort, right? Because all or most of the players, I believe except for Mark TZ, has had experience
Oh my
playing
God.
in the MPL that we've
Yes.
seen for the longest time na itong mga pangalan na ito, kung baga, napupunta sa iba't ibang teams.
Yun.
They've showcased what they can do. And posible na makita mo
Pop
sila dyan, di ba? Yung mga manlalaro.
Jamaica.
Minsan lumalabas yung ulo nila dyan sa side na yan.
Malay
Eh.
nyo.
So just in case
Ang tangin ng
hindi nyo
camera to,
nakita yung
kumakain
ratings
pala ng ano
page,
to.
it is a possibility
SPS.
na yung mga nabanggit nilang
FPS,
players are the ones
gago.
that are gonna be playing today. But on the other side, Smart Omega not really having a lot of changes since last season. What do you think is the
Kung
reason
di na
why
Lord
they
Seal
are
Geek talo.
performing like this? Ano ba yung sekreto? Or
Hindi ba naka-Lord
even
Seal? Di
sekreto,
ano, si
what
Vincent
are your
to.
observations regarding this team and how they're getting the
Di,
win?
mataas ang threat ng Moscow
Arrows
doon.
here. And I think one of the key factors talaga ay yung fact na Andoryu...
Ganun dapat ginagawa ni Outplayed eh. Kaso si Outplayed puro
we
push eh.
weren't able to see last week. And then the fact na even Chaknu now wearing the hat of being a captain.
5 minutes
and
pa.
mas bukod sa fact na mas magaling sumagot si Chakno ngayon sa interview, mas grabe yung pagka-well-rounded ng paglalaro ni Chakno na not only does it help the team, it also adds more chaos to the already chaotic playstyle of Barangay.
And to pair up with how well Chakra has been doing, I want to acknowledge...
Pangit ang huli laban sa ID. Dewa, Tibos. Wala na. Pangit na yun.
You have to give it. You have to give it.
Wala nang Pinoy na manonood doon.
Wala pa.
But
Wala nang Pinoy na manonood.
For this season, the two games that we saw him play in, it just seems that he really understands his role for Omega in the
May
team.
import bang Dewa? Wala no?
For the backline, whether
Saka
it's
Ibos.
one initiating, followed up by
Damage.
Jackal. Ryota's just been so good. The EXP lane for Smart Omega.
You know, it's funny kasi they both came from Onyx Philippines. And then Fnatic Onyx Philippines. And then all of a sudden, they're here. So, kumbaga parang ito, makikita natin yung scrim nila. Or hindi ba sila naglalaban pag scrim? Well, we're about to find out because it's gonna be Blacklist International versus Smart Omega in this final series.
MPL Arena. And across them are their rivals. Walking down the stage, returning faces, looking to add another chapter to this storied rivalry. Welcome back to the Philippines, Stellar. It's Blacklist International! master tacticians for both sides for Smart Omega, it's Coach Lembon. And for Blacklist International, it's Coach Bonchan.
It's time for the face-off. Dilar, Ryota, step
Well, sana pag
forward.
F-Talk pinangalo yung laban. Maling event.
Once a sub, now part of the main five. The
Aba,
times have
request
changed
granted.
for these two players.
Bakit? Anong granted?
Ryota,
Ah, Dilar maglalaro?
ano
Yun!
ang palag mo kay Dilar?
Eto.
Dilar, ano ang palag mo kay Ryota?
Basta tandaan mo lang, bago nagka-Atoy Army, may general muna.
Palag kung palag!
Palag kung palag ah.
A story of domination and redemption. Who will reveal the hero within? It's time to find out. Casters, pasok.
At doon natin nakita ang muling pagbabalik ni Dilar. Excited na nga siyang pumunta.
The General is back!
Excited na siyang maglaro. Bakit nyo ba ako papupuntahin sa gitna ng stage? But yes, before that, it's Smart Omega that hasn't really changed their lineup and is now building on their momentum.
In English, Dilar said before there was the Atoy Army, there was the General first. This is the first General, the General of MPL Philippines going up against the new General, his former teammate in Ryota. But besides the EXP lane, Big J has been tearing it up this season. 2 MVP performances, and Ukir has been a sleeper hit for Smart Omega.
But for Blacklist International,
Puta,
they're
Exort.
bringing in 2 new players para sa week 2. It's Dilar and Exort na highlight.
Oo, tapos
Haji Roam!
because Haji is now back in the roaming position. Will this shake things up for Blacklist International? Kasi
Tang ina,
nakita
tuna to.
natin yung
Tuna ni Dilar yan. Ay, ni Dilar ni Haji.
hats. How will he be able to adjust as early as week 2? Yan ang tanong ng bayan.
It's crazy kasi we've seen Haji play 3 different roles all through.
Taka ng Haji ito, no?
Speaking of which,
Multi-role.
nabanggit niya kanina, the General returns. At ang pinakahuling beses na nakita natin itong si Dilar in a Mundon Sanction Tournament was in MSC 2023. Nung EVOS Legends ay humarap sa Onyx in the quarterfinals. Sinab nga siya nung game 2, di ba?
Yes.
Na parang medyo alanganin na yung kanilang sitwasyon. But
Yeah.
even so, he's managed to secure a win and give some hope for the EVOS fans.
Yeah, he got to play 2 games, and if you weren't there or you weren't following MSC 2023, he played the Joy and the Uranus. When after that series, after that first game where he played the Joy, everyone in the world said, EVOS, why did you sub Dilar? Why did it take you so long to play him?
Now, for Blacklist, they're not taking their time. Ilalagay na kagad nila itong si Dilar because they want to show
Baka ibus yan.
that the General still has it. Ganun din naman yung gustong gawin ni Ryota because you also have to show the previous General that Atoy Army is now in charge. At para sa parehas na kupunan, you have to challenge each other's team chemistry. Yung sa Omega, siguro nasagot natin during the first week, but for Blacklist International, we are yet to figure that out with this new lineup.
Oo, parang ang tanong ulit ngayon ay papaano makatutulong both Exort, Dilar, and Haji now that they are in their roles. They all have a role to play in this game. And kung paano masishake nun yung mga kaganapan as we head on to game number 1. Again, this is a battle between the new generation and the old generation. Who will prevail?
I just have to say, though, we have to acknowledge it that, for me, Ryota's coming in here the favorite. It's Dilar that's the big underdog because even though he hasn't really achieved like crazy heights, hasn't won championships, Ryota has been consistent, slowly bubbling his reputation in MPL Philippines, and even fans from other regions see Ryota as someone to really look out for. So for Dilar, it could be a rough welcome back to MPL Philippines going up against a long-time former teammate.
Kasi ang kaganapan, no, Ryota has been consistently playing, pero nakita natin si Delar take a pause in playing MLBB professional tournament for a long time. So again, ang nagiging katanungan ay kung magiging ready ba, not just Blacklist International, but the entire squad of Smart Omega sa pagbabalik ng General.
You know, you're right about that. Kasi for a while, right, we've seen Delar nanonood nung season 13 playoffs. And alam nyo, hindi na ako naniniwala pag sinasabi ng mga players na nanonood lang sila. Kasi, tingnan mo, ganito rin yung ginawa ni Rene J at ngayon, or before siyang mapunta ng Blacklist, and then now he's part of Aurora, and then Dilar's doing the same thing. But for now, we're gonna be looking forward into the draft to check out kung ano ba yung posibleng i-pick up ng dalawang teams na ito. It's side of Blacklist International on the blue. Meanwhile, red naman ang kukunin ng barangay. And pretty scattered yung bans natin ngayon.
Yeah, Jushin first phase ban signals that Blacklist International baka iniisip nila
Galingan mo, Dilar, para
first pick. So tingnan natin if Omega will go
Para maano ka na, ma-regular ka na.
Roger, the Zask, one of those.
And now, nakikita natin na ang dami ding pocket picks bukod doon sa mga nabanggit natin.
Tagal di naglaro yan, oo. Sa pro, pero tingin ko nagbabatak yan.
As we head on to the second phase of the draft, the likes of the Hanzo, even yung Hylos.
Oo. Pero meron pocket picks din yung Blacklist International. They made the Bane Mathilda work.
Yes.
So that's something that Omega still also has to respect. So the Zaz gets taken out. So are you gonna get the Moskov? Are you gonna get the Roger? The usual first two picks that we see.
I mean, at this point, gusto mo na medyo flexible yung options mo, and that's exactly what Blacklist International is gonna do. Roger that can go into the jungle or gold position. Smart Omega could possibly have an answer.
I'm feeling Edith Ruby, something along those lines.
Yeah, definitely maganda yung dalawang heroes na yon. Or they could also veer towards picking a Teresa for Atoy R.
Yeah.
Edith.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, at this point kasi parang iisipin mo rin na you have to keep your opponent guessing. Edith, still quite a flexible hero here. Could go into different positions. Same as the Roger. So both of these heroes or both of these coaches, parang iniisip lang nila kung ano muna yung posible nilang i-pick up. But that is a quick one. An Aurora for the side of Smart Omega.
Yeah, and gusto ko lang din banggitin, kagaya ng nabanggit natin nung unang serya ng araw na ito, isa si Aurora sa mga heroes na anti-assassin because of the Frigid Glacier. So definitely, that closes off the books for the side of Blacklist International to instantly pick an assassin without knowing what's next for them.
Yeah, they can play safe, go for EXP. And, they take the high loss away from Omega and they pick up a Valentina. I'm not going to completely turn off the idea of a high loss EXP instead of a high loss roam. This might actually be going to the hands of Dilar.
I mean, usually nakikita natin dito kay Ryota is he's the one who's usually the sponge, diba? He doesn't make the flashiest of plays, pero he's the kind of player that kind of like takes all of the damage para Chakno is gonna be enabled to use those setups para magkaroon siya ng espasyo to use those setups to give a better time for his teammates. But now, a final pick of the first phase para sa Barangay is gonna be that Claude, something that we've usually seen before from Big J.
Yeah, I like this pickup by Omega because the first three picks of Blacklist International is giving team fight.
Yep.
You see those picks and you imagine a lineup that wants to roam together, fight together. So Omega will pick up a Claude so that they can open up the map and be able to split push.
Oo, tapos yung fact na yun, na the moment na magkaroon na ng enough resources yung Claude from split pushing, from being able to open up the map, that's a go signal for him na in a way, nai-equalize pa din yung fact na pwede silang makipaglaban at the right moment.
Yeah, the thing that hurts about this Claude pick though is that Blacklist International, you know that there's a high chance they won't have a static backliner. Because all of the lineups of all of the heroes so far of Blacklist International want to dive. Meaning that when the Claude goes into Blazing Duet, it puts itself in a very dangerous situation.
Yes, kasi the moment na ma-crowd control siya, just even the Hylos, pag tinuhog siya nung spear ng Hylos, unless mag-purify siya, which I think is the go signal here din naman for this Claude, medyo mahirapan talaga in terms of pwestuhan sa pagpasok ng mga teamfight.
So both of these teams clearly have their conditions na i-met nila, especially with the high loss being picked up for the side of Blacklist International. I believe 100% pick rate siya kada araw na lumilipas, right? For the past 4 days that we've seen dito sa MPL Philippines Season 14, it's always been that high loss.
Let's go. Mahirap talagang mag-stream at mag-edit.
Natatanggal naman ang Smart Omega.
Haya and Julian are still open, so that's definitely a possibility for both of our teams. But then again, we've mentioned how yung pagkakapick ng side ng Smart Omega ng Aurora already opens up the possibility na meron silang in a way pang counter out against those kinds of heroes.
You know what I'm thinking? What might be okay for Blacklist International, MP the King, if ever the Roger's gonna go into the gold lane, they can pick Alpha.
Alpha, yes.
Yeah. Alpha jungle, then put the Roger into the gold lane will be good.
Right? Alpha could be looking good para sa kupunan ng Blacklist International. But this is interesting.
Yeah. Kasi binanggit ni Renmar kanina kung papaanong currently yung lineup ng Blacklist International all-dive. And how better to counter an all-dive lineup than to have ng mga pating na paparating sa'yo the moment na mag-dive ka.
So now it's a question for Blacklist. Do you put the Roger gold? Do you put it in the jungle? I feel like still pick up the Alpha, or maybe even, I don't know, consider the Martis because you have the high loss to pair up with it. I'm just thinking that you need someone in a key position that can avoid getting crowd controlled by the ultimate of the Bane.
I guess they're probably thinking na posibleng kunin din kasi sana nila yung Bane, but the only problem is they're gonna fixate on an assassin, one of the strongest assassins that we have in the current game, at sasamahan din nila yan ng Grok. So posible nga na flexible pa itong Grok tsaka yung high loss in the XP in row position.
And sinasagot din ito yung question mo, Renmar, doon sa may ability to evade the crowd control coming from the Bane. So in a way, a good pick, but then again, kagaya na binanggit mo, Hans, pwede nating makitang mag-veer towards the XP lane again, ang isang Grok, just like what Sanford did in their game number 2.
Yung nakikita ko to so far, this could potentially be a very magulo game.
Yes.
Parang ang daming aksyon, daming individual fights na nangyari. Last pick, Rome or EXP?
Bane na naman! Kinuha yung Bane! Putay, nagaw!
Lason to
Yeah, this is Ryota holding on to a glue, and Chaknu ang gagamit ng Edith compared to the usual set of heroes that, you know, we kind of see from it.
I'm thinking about if ang naging train of thought dito ng Smart Omega ay walang kayang mag-burst down agad sa glue at the start. Kasi nga naman medyo tanky talaga yung mechanics ng glue. And kaya niyang sakyan yung mga humaharap.
Yeah, sobrang lason ng glue pick na yan na baka, yun nga, as you mentioned, the early game, it might be difficult for Blacklist, for Omega to have an answer towards, for Blacklist International, excuse me, to have an answer towards the glue. Parang iniisip ko, parang at some point, the casters in Filipino will say, ang kunat! In English, they can't take him down.
I mean, Lembot and Bonchan have finally made their move. It is now time para sa mga manlalaro. Casters, pasok.
Little did we know that the code could be rewritten before our very eyes. Welcome to the second matchup of the day. It's Blacklist International facing off against Smart Omega. Leo here at your service, alongside Jose Ingan. Man, I didn't think you could see Haji still switch up mid-season.
Haji, he's shown that he could do it. Mid-season, after every season, is always something new for Haji. But still, he was able to evade that death with a flicker. That's a costly flicker, though, for Haji.
Old school pickups here. And check it out. As well, you have the story of Ryota versus Dilar. The return of the General! Oh, talking about it. Ryota's drawn first blood.
There is a new General, new captain. So far, Ryota really performing well with the glue. We didn't expect glue to be...
Yan ang mga gusto na Dilar mga ganyang XP, yung makukunat.
Different kinds of heroes. I mean, who could have thought Andoryu picking up a Hanzo in week number 1?
Sino matay?
There's a lot of new stuff Smart Omega's bringing to the table. And that's the reason why they're one of the hottest teams going into Season 14. tied off with Aurora, in my opinion, after week 1. Now going into week 2, off to a strong start once more. Despite the drawn first blood onto the KDA machine, look at this. Blacklist still up by about 2.
Galing Lord. Suid man gawa mo. Oo, kailangan eh. Okay naman sana naging kaso ang time sila mag-dash, hindi hihintay mo na lumabas si Lord kaya madali siya ma-pick up.
I thought it was Atoy Army.
Who says that?
The other broadcast.
No one says that. Literally no one says that. Looking at the mid lane matchup, you have Exort versus Ukir, who, by the way, we didn't make much noise about Exort coming back.
I love this matchup. Again, if you can recall correctly, last season, Ukir transferred from MDL to MPL, and same as well for Exort from MPL to MPL. This time they're facing off, not as teammates.
Gago! Didilar! Mamatay!
They used to replace each other.
Yes.
You know, the shuffle through the barangay which led to this iteration of Smart Omega. So
Start
there's
na
a lot
turtle si Dilar.
of webs weaved throughout this matchup. That's why the rivalry is very much...
Let's go, Dilar!
Behind them. Look at this
Let's
now.
go, Dilar!
It's just Dilar.
Wala na, wala. Bigay na, bigay. Layan jungler eh.
Its eyes on an objective, there's very little you can do.
The deadly catch, yeah, especially with the deadly catch. You really don't want to contest Bane, because if you overcommit, Omega can really turn things around into their favor. They have the Edith, they have the Bane as well. And going head-to-head, Hayabusa versus Bane, you'd really favor the Bane. And MP the King knows this, because their only single game 1 was he was using the Bane.
That's right.
Yeah.
And with that said, there's really very little answer you have towards the Bane. When you have the glorious pathway set down through Dilar,
Kinuha yung Bane niya, no, MP.
very old, the deadly catch. So now,
Mga hero yan ni Wise eh.
belongs to Blacklist, but when
Bane.
you get into a fight, which I think Omega will try to delay for as long as much as possible because they need to get their XP and their items on. That's when it'll break out. Oh, here we go.
Shockno onward connecting onto Haji as well as the Frigid Glacier. That's going to be a first blood kill. Oh, no, that's not the first blood, but Haji again.
Haji nga eh.
For Blacklist. And prior to that clash, we've seen Andoryu as well as
Puta, feeder Haji
Sky Piercer.
Feeding era.
Both of these players respectively for their teams to really get kills as much as possible, but the problem is Omega is on the
Walang score. Meron.
controlling the pace early game.
Yeah, that's a bold move.
Ano, 0-2.
Pick up the Sky Piercer on to the Bane. I personally wouldn't do that.
Same.
But if
I'm not that confident.
if Smart Omega says, you know, we're gonna go fast and we're gonna pick off fights as fast as possible. And look, prior to this matchup, right?
Hirapan si MP the King dito
Over and over again. That's fine. They're the ones.
Sa Cambodia
But if you
puta, mga ganitong minuto,
that's a whole other story.
lumalapang na eh.
Because Shockno once again connecting onto Haji. Haji needs to walk away there.
Epe!
Here comes MP the King. Wiki Shadow
Kulang sa
gets
stock.
The problem is 3 members are there.
Di maabot.
Damage. And
Uy!
look at that Haji with a wild charge. Follow-up coming in from Blacklist.
Sorry.
They're in a better position. Circle.
Not to
Padigay.
mention, Joshua Mangilog still had the primal wrath, so extra shield.
Ulti na, Dilar!
Now at less than half health. Down to a fifth.
Ulti na!
Got blocked by
Hello, para walang takas oh. Oh.
Blacklist will secure turtle. without-
Glorious pathway.
Like what Haji did there. The
Pa-item muna. Oo nga eh.
The Guardian's barrier.
The Guardian's barrier was very crucial for Andoryu not to contest anymore. And at the same time, they were able to evade whatever Omega could do to go for a trade.
That's right. It's key towards the next ramp up from mid to late, and even in late game, big 5-man collisions. Only one member of Smart Omega can actually go through the wall,
this
and
time-
that is Jolm.
Oh, look at that! This is what we were saying a while ago. The glorious pathway got cancelled by the deadly catch. And Shockno going in with the primal wrath. MP's gonna fall down, but a counterattack coming in from Haji all the way from the backline. No casualties from Omega, and you predicted this. Even if you have a glorious pathway from Hylos, one deadly catch from Andoryu is enough to disrupt the aggression of the agents.
And not
Ayos lang yan. Konti naman lamang. Konti lang lamang guys. Konti lang.
the threat of activation of the primal wrath. You know, you're clumped up together, you take a lot of damage. You also have the frigid breath. You literally lay down a lot of deterrence to this one-time, big-time ult of, oh man, look at that. As if it wasn't enough that you threw away the big ult. Oh, MP also goes down!
MP goes down, And the only person that the Wiki Shadow Kill connected to was Ukir, who still had the Pride of Ice. So
Exactly.
there was really no trade for Blacklist that time. Although it was a good effort for Haji to go for the clash, it was just that Chaku was ready to dive in. The onward plus Primarath combination was able to take down
First
MP
item,
so far.
Hylos,
MP not having a good
Thunderbelt.
but at the same time, he
Hindi
didn't
ba first
realize
item
that
yan eh, ano?
that isn't that much
Lollipop?
detrimental. So
Flock of Destiny, hindi ba?
In the downtime between the first and the second match of the night, I was going through social media. I was looking at what our friends online were talking about.
Yeah.
The meta seems to favor layering of skills and just resources.
Hanggang Ryota.
And the first match was one off of that. Here, I think I can say the same thing. Is because look at Chaknu, right? Chaknu, the single most effective. Oh, here we go. See what I was talking about?
Look at Chaknu! Frigid Glacier to finish
Tang inang
off
Chaknu
the
yan.
king, but the clash is not yet done. Job.
Yung! Haji, dead na naman. Dead na, boy. Nabuhay pa si Haji.
Was that a worth
Pilar, 1v4. Glorious Pathway. Chakno sa likod. Putang ina ng setan. Iyak. Tangina niya, hindi nakita yun. Jeez, Luis.
I remember Chaknu.
Exactly, I was just talking about Chaknu.
You were talking about
Counter yung deadly catch sa Hylos.
Single bush check, he was able to
Oo nga.
on Black.
Kasi pares mabagal. Eh, tatakbo pa yung Hylos eh, no? Pag inalangan ng ano, deadly catch, putang na. Kaya siguro Bane kinuha nila, no? Ibig sabihin, ang kinounter lang nila,
My boy outplayed, got caught by the tail end of a deadly catch.
yung Glorious Pathway.
You know, every viewer here should watch what you're saying because previously the last series you
Item.
said that the game's not no clashes were ensuing.
Sky Piercer agad.
But the moment you said that a major clash happened, now this time you were pertaining to Chaknu, and then Chaknu made an amazing play onto MP.
What they call caster curse, but in my
The
case,
caster curse.
it's the other way around. Look at this, Haji still doing what he's trying to do from the very first minute of the game. Off
Tangina, lakas ng Omega ngayon ah.
Big J, a
Mga bata kasi.
for the barangay. I'm wondering now, like, what's the alternate approach for Blacklist, given that Omega have blocked out their major in, right? Through the front lines, through the Glorious Pathway, through the Wild Charge, Guardians Barrier, like, what other angle could Blacklist find? Because Omega seems to have all the bases covered.
It's really a split push coming in from MP, the king, or even out there at the same time. Make sure
Oy, deadly catch.
actually soaks up all the damage and utilize that Hylos with the high HP. Because so far, no one's gonna burst down Delar. I mean, you have to wait for the power spike of Joe. Later on, there's no natural.
Huli ka na naman dyan, Dilar, kay Chakno.
So, Delar, you should really utilize the Glorious Pathway.
Whoa! Chaknu walking side by side, parallel to Haji. If that went any other angle, would have been a flip over to Haji, and we could have been looking at a crumble down.
Tangina, wala nga yung Hylos.
Angle to look at it, then yes, you're right.
Hindi makapwersa, pre.
Blacklist has over Omega, despite the 3K gold lead, is they're a more sustainable line.
Hindi makapanson, no?
It's much longer, especially after Smart Omega lets go of all their big ticket ults.
Plus, they have to
Yeah.
utilize so they can actually always counter engage once again.
And they heal together.
They heal together. The Ube is still there.
Agents stronger together.
Glorious Pathway na! Dilar! Tatlo yan, oh. Ready na sila, oh. Sayang, no?
You keep throwing the deadly catch.
Chaknu.
Chaknene.
Wants to go right after
Wala na, mag-Glorious Pathway, patay na.
Charge to walk away. And this time, Rion
Yan na, Glorious Pathway.
Black to set their formation. He was able to go
Ba't
on
pa
the
ganyan?
He's gonna
Puta.
fall down. And that was a bait because Omega's really focusing on this Lord. Chaknu makes
Natitins na ako, Dilar, putang ina.
Oh,
Yun!
what? Look at that! Exort! Welcome back as he
That's one,
takes
Exort.
down the Lord away from
Exort
Omega.
boots!
Now Omega's mad. The barangay is mad.
Nice one, Dilar!
As well. Took down Job. Two members
Isa pa.
falling down for Omega. What a turn of event for
Wag, ang
the
sakit ni,
Angels.
sakit ni Andorio.
Dexter Martinez,
Pasag.
the X Factor, exhort from out of nowhere, stealing away the Lord, opening up
Tignan nga build ni Andorio.
for Omega. Bait them. You know what? I could have sworn Exort was still wearing the green and black. That's what that
Oo lang, yung
felt
GP
like.
talaga counter
And
nila.
what now that did is
Sky
snap
Piercer need ng stock.
the gold lead in half. And how did that? Where did that come?
What?
We were seeing past the Lord steal, but yeah, no, I think in the grander scale of things, Ingan, I think the kills that resulted after the Lord steal was more important than the Lord steal itself,
Yeah.
which was already a majestic piece piece of art.
Uy, nakalamang na Blacklist.
Blacklist, they were able to get a takedown.
Nakalamang sa pwesto.
They're not gonna be
Basag
able to
muna,
survive.
gitna, basag.
This is just a level 1 Lord.
Huli! Uy!
Oh, look
Uy!
at
Haji!
Haji still.
Putang!
He just wanted to delay. Omega.
Tricks!
He bought enough time because they're after that.
Gago, tumipi ka pa!
Now Delar, oh, he's
Tang
being
ina.
picked up there by
Ay ba?
Shano. But the Glorious
Tapos.
Pathway will... Oh! Wow! What a TP onto Omega.
Ang palakas ng loob.
Swag,
The
man.
army! The general is back!
Look at the swag. And because of that, again, the
Ang
back
palakas ng loob.
frontliners from Blacklist pushing through deep into Omega's territory. They were able to push down tier 2.
Okay. Okay, now they're pushing down tier 2 again on the middle lane.
It's a clap back. Oh, of course.
Omega's playing like Blacklist also right now.
It's a barangay ube,
The Barangay Ube.
which I think is a smart way to play. I mean, no pun intended.
Oh,
But
well,
look at the front line, right? As long as Chakno finds somebody and Ryota compromises the back line, the frigid breath and the deadly catch should get some kills, and then Jome is there for the cleanup.
Yeah. You can see Omega. I mean, Ryota, although he has a good KDA, 1, 2, 3, it's not like the glue's disturbance onto Blacklist. It's not that prevalent anymore because Dilar's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So like both XP laners are just going for the front lines. Just making sure that the damage dealers don't have a good angle to dish out the damage and make sure to free hit.
That's right. For Blacklist, it's less honest.
Yeah.
It's more angles. You have to find angles. For Smart Omega, they can cut right through you, whether it be through the big 5-man pushes, through the big team fights, again, Deadly Catch and Frigid Breath, and then you have Ryota cutting through. What they do have, Blacklist, is
Uubusin ng bintana
I
nila.
think he's the main difference maker. Is once
Paubos na nga.
Smart Omega, it's over. That's why the Barangay now is playing their version of the Ube.
Yeah, especially towards this next Lord objective. If you can't find where MD the King is hiding, we can see another Lord steal.
Look at this blitz and then a feint. Lord here put down to about half health. Let it reset hard. I think Smart Omega's waiting for a big ult to come out. Then they'll snap.
Yeah.
Then they'll clap back.
Most probably.
Kailangan dyan pag umatake yung Omega, harangan ni Dilar ng Glorious Pathway, isang pahalang, isang pa ganun, no?
That's right.
Para may slow.
Chaotic start.
Huwag pa sa lubong, pahalang, para
Coming in with his veteran wild.
huwag ka boundary.
Haji here.
Okay, now this time they're giving it to Haji.
He's fine.
They're telling Haji, you can't just check bush here.
Nothing is free.
Nothing's free.
Go back, Salik Imam.
This seat is taken.
Go back.
Paliti mo.
Interestingly enough, Haji knows what it's like to play for Omega.
Oh yeah.
That's right, his first world championship in M2.
So not just the organizations
He was
or
wearing the green and black.
yeah, it's not just the organizations who have a rich history. It's all the individual players as well.
Even on a player-to-player basis.
Yeah, Doryu,
There's
even
rich
Exort, now
history
Chakno with a
on the line.
conceal.
Oh, they let go again.
Ito, walang set ang Blacklist Wild charge lang. Ayan, Exort, makuha yung ano eh.
Put down about half, and Dilar.
Exort, kuha yung kay Edith. Maganda kayo kay Dilar, ay kay ano, Doryu.
First one to let go of an ult.
Parang mas okay kung kaya Doryu na kuha niya.
Let go of an ult will lose.
That's right. You go first. No, you.
go first. The first
Pag
one
yung
to
Edith, may
punch
second
will
dive ka
lose.
eh. Kahit pa paano.
Don't
That's the
throw a
name of the
punch.
game.
Don't throw a punch. Just
Yeah.
look for the counter.
Yes. That's what they're looking for.
Bob and weave.
Wow.
Oh, wait. We're
Ah,
approaching
gulatan
the
na.
point of no return, Ingan. Look at this. The Lord here, down a third of its health. And it's a soft reset, not about half. Great bush control here by Dilar and Exort.
Ryota.
Wow!
Oh, they bursted down the Lord. And now Blacklist has to answer.
Nice, Glorious Pathway! Nice!
Nani!
Puta, nahuli.
Escape despite the glorious pathway.
Nice one, Dilar.
Rob, do you see that? I could have sworn he was dead.
Wow. He saved that flicker for the most crucial time.
And I think there was a proc of the Brave Smite at that last moment that gave him just a oh my god!
Wow, Blacklist has to
Oh my god!
Ryota still. It looks like I cannot explain what happened with Ryota.
That was amazing. That was a micro moment in
Pixel perfect move.
in a masterpiece of a fight against
Hey,
4K
Samsung.
here. About 2,000 gold. Smart Omega is ahead, but Blacklist have found their moments here, and now they have to pull out another one, huge one, an enhanced Lord crashing through mid.
Joe has the malefic roar. Dilar has to commit that glorious pathway.
Hindi makadikit si Dilar eh.
In the middle lane, Ryota goes in.
Tempo lang, tempo. Papasok yan, papasok.
Lord still alive.
Ryota!
Oh, Ryota will fall down. What a good pickup here from
But-
MP the King. But Barangay still wants to focus on the objectives. Going in the inhibitor turret on the top lane, but I think Blacklist is going to be able to
Whoa, whoa,
defend
whoa,
this.
whoa,
But Haji says no, we want to answer right now. We can
Ayan,
shadow
mga.
kill. Fetching Glacier is dead. Dilar's going to get caught up in the mix of everything. And now Omega all of a sudden is back on top.
Amazing space discipline by Andorio. That's one of the main weaknesses of a big
Bago magkaroon ng ato yung RP, may
mobile as
dealer.
you'd like to be,
General.
But if you can bob and weave, kite through the effective damage of your opponents, you're basically a god. Look at this. He's rocking Sky Piercer, 5 stacks on it, maybe 2 or 3, depending on how much time you put on there. A Malefic Roar, Brute Force Breastplate. He's fully built. Like they can take anything they want now.
Oh, Haji in with a wild charge.
Oh, baby catch!
But still, Omega gets the inhibitor turret onto the top lane. Now, Andorio is really being a thorn in the neck of Blacklist. Every single time the deadly catch can be casted, he casts it right away.
And
May
Blacklist
silang
knows
goal
what
ng
so
deadly
many
catch
since MP the King is playing among the ranks. A Bane in the hands of a very, very proficient jungler with a team that's willing to lean into it is a thing of beauty. Look at this!
Oh, Haji's gonna get caught up
Patay
again.
na naman si
Shadow
Haji.
Mimosati will be
Hoy!
Rota doing the split.
Buy and sell.
First man down is Haji. Glorious pathway just to escape. And now Omega.
Yun lang, wala na. Wala na silang panlock.
I think they can take this game away from
This is
Blacklist.
the call. Joe working on the orange buff. Might be the pied de resistance. Huge Raven mid. Looking to clear. Deadly catch!
Got you once again, but a conceal onto the backline. Fetching Glacier is there to bring down the
Putang ina,
General.
wala magawa.
The members of Barangay are
Wala
still
magawa ng
here.
halos
Minions
pag
onto the bottom
titikitan.
lane. Now Blazing Duet coming in.
Minions lang!
Joe Mass, they take game one.
Minions!
away. But look at how
Minions!
Blazing still on the attack.
Ah!
Omega manages.
Ang ina.
You know what's funny? Our question was, how is the Claude gonna enter the team fight? But that ended up becoming, how will Blacklist International enter the team fight? The Hylos, the Glue, the Bane together, they couldn't get close.
Yeah, and nabanggit ni Renmar kanina no, na kailangan na makakapangansel dun sa Claude. But the only response from Blacklist International was the Grok. And napupurify agad yun easily yung wild charge ni Haji using that Grok. Madali siyang napupurify ni Big J. Kaya naman grabe yung pagwawala ng Claude sa dance floor na kahit nasa gitna siya, it doesn't matter because there were 5 of them there.
Daklo!
Hindi pa tapos. Chak 2. Chak na. Dahil ikaw ang MVP ng game number 1. Just really dishing those assists para sa kanya mga kakampi.
You know, a lot of people are asking, why do the casters, the talents, they seem to praise Chaknu a lot? Come on!
Doon sa mid lane turret. Ibig sabihin, kada umaangat yung minion wave nila, nababawasan ng paunti-unti yung mid lane turret, kaya nagkaroon sila ng madaling space early on sa ating laban.
The minion wave management in the mid lane by Smart Omega made it so difficult for Blacklist International to position well around the Lords. And even in this take, Exort had to go back and help clear those minion waves. And that was already the perfect initiation and start by Haji to try and turn things around for Blacklist International. But then since, again, the constant pressure in the mid lane, it stopped Blacklist International from being able to get the good positions and the good
Sa
timings
dance.
around the Lord dance. Yes.
Definitely. Kaya nahihirapan sila makapwesto kasi again, building up on the fact na ang ganda ng lane management na nagmumula dito sa kupunan ng barangay, nahihirapan din sila na mag-engage na kung susubukan nilang mag-hero dun sa Lord Dance, ang daming pangontra ng kupunan ng Smart Omega. Kaya kung babalikan natin, nabanggit natin sa draft na isa talaga sa mga pang-counter against an assassin ay yung Aurora. And i-couple mo pa yung fact na meron silang deadly catch coming from this Bane. Every chance na magka-quad shadow, itong si MP the King, madali siyang napipigilan and madali siyang nababurst down.
Yeah, and look at the itemization by Edith. It's so funny to me that we were talking about this earlier, Auntie Anara, na parang sinasabi natin, ay, wala na masyado nagdo-dominance eyes, but Omega are still sticking to that idea. Of course, going up against the fact that they have the high loss to contest and, of course, the Revitalize coming in from that EXP laner. The dominance eyes made sense. Add to that the Thunderbelt, the little bits of poke damage, basic attacks that you can get from the Edith. It always brought Haji down to a dangerous...
Long range yung first skill ni Bane.
Yes.
Oo.
Alam mo,
Ginagamit ko kaya si Bane. Sarap kaya.
sa akin, yung
Basta bumanda sa minions, putang na, may tatamaan.
lahat sila may slow. Hylos nakapagpapabilis ng kanyang koponan.
Nalungkot tuloy si Dilar.
And mind you, whenever
Common
you
emblem?
use passive,
Ah, bagay,
it's
Regine.
only Hylos that gets the slow reduction. Ibig sabihin, hindi masuslow si Hylos kapag nandun siya sa Glorious Pathway. But the rest of his team,
Anong build niya, no?
Yung Corrosion Sight.
Di ko nakita yung build niya, ano, ah.
Deadly Catch, yung Hailstone Blast, lahat nagme-make sense. Kaya nahihirapan talaga pumasok yung side ng Blacklist International.
And to think that it was the side of Blacklist International na gumamit ng Bane na doon nila nakuha, I believe, yung kanilang unang panalo in this season. Has it been for the side of Blacklist International? Kasi parang kontrahan lang sila ng gulo eh. What was it for Blacklist International that kind of like gave them a hard time in terms of execution?
Well, along with the slow factor that Auntie Anara mentioned, we have to look at the first 2 picks and the last 2 picks of Omega. So they went with the Bane and Glue as the last 2 picks, and it was very obvious but the effect there. But I want to point out here the Aurora priority for Ukir. So Blacklist International ended up picking the Hayabusa into that. So one of the things you want to do as a Hayabusa is that you disrupt the mid lane rotation by using your ultimate preemptively para matanggal mo yung mga key abilities.
Bad performance ni Aji. Naninibago pa yan?
Take away the Nether Realm.
Siyempre.
As Aurora, gusto mo lang i-pop yung passive niya para mapapaisip na yung roam at saka mid laner, ay sasama ba talaga tayo?
Ang hirap din ang hirap din humanap ng plays dyan. Mga play. Ito mo kalaban niya kasi oh. Edit saka ano. Edit. Ano ba to? Sino ba to? Si Glue. Tapos Bane pa. Parang hirap hanapan ng play. Eh, hindi naman basta-basta nalabas yung Aurora sa Cloud.
Off of the back of the Grok, but Omega did not give that.
Yeah, and this is why you guys were pertaining more on like the alpha pick on
Hindi lang talagang tang selection. Dami counter sa kanya. Parang hirap hanapan nga ng play dyan, Yaji.
But Hayabusa does, deal a ton of damage, pero going up against probably a Glue, it's kind of like a little difficult for them to execute and maneuver sa mga ganong klase ng...
Malakas si Yaji mag-rock. Siguro nahihirapan lang doon sa lineup ng kakalaban.
And I'm sure that you're gonna be seeing him again in the English broadcast.
Kasi kahit ibubuli niya si Glue. Puta ka na, yayakapin lang siya ni Glue. Ibubuli niya si Edit. Kumbaga, isusone niya, harapan siya ni Edit.
Kasi ngayon, it's gonna be Maraki.
Stun lang siya ni Edit. Pak, stun, pak, o tira, o. Tapos layo. Pag pumalag siya, malambot din naman si Grok pag ano.
Hindi lang yan. Katabi ko dito ang kanilang super fan. Angie, kamusta ka?
Hello po. I'm very, very happy today.
Okay, so sabi mo nga kanina, super fan ka ng Smart Omega. Meron pang green flag dito.
Proudly wearing green.
Sino sa kanila yung talagang sinusuportahan mo?
Siyempre, sino pa bang magaling na mag-entry sa kanila? Chuck No!
Chuck Nu! Nakaka-impress naman talaga si Chuck Nu.
Sobra po.
Ngayon, captain na
Community manager.
Siyempre, I know that his leadership talagang kitang-kita naman sa first game na panalo niya agad. Ang easy nga eh. Akala nga naman, kinakabahan kami kanina. Pero kitang-kita with his leadership, whenever he entries, he goes in with confidence.
Goes in with confidence!
Parang may halong ano ah.
Baka nga ba naging super fan?
You know, aside from, watching them, syempre
May Aurora pa nga, di ba?
And inviting my friends, I took it a bit further. Kasi po, me as an aspiring teacher, we guide kids and we actually build an esports guild.
Oh, wow!
Yes.
Saan school to?
Pwede ba
Ay, sige. Pero pwede pala yun, teacher ka. So,
Yeah.
so pwede silang maglaro ng ML habang nasa class?
Syempre hindi. Iba pa rin yung esports guild nila. It's esports time. And by that, kasi, I have a lot of students who are very interested in ML. And one of my students actually really look up to Chuck Nu. And yun yung ini-inspire namin na, of course, habang young pa sila, habang bata pa sila na netatrain na sila to becoming maybe, so hopefully, the new or the next esports players.
So sila Chuck Nu.
Yeah, inspiration.
Ayan o, nakikinig sila
Hello
ngayon
po.
sa Smart Omega. Anong gusto mong sabihin sa kanila kung paano sila nag-i-influence ng mga students mo?
Siyempre, thank you po, especially sa team ng Smart Omega, lalo na po kay Chuck Nu, kasi you've been inspiring not only here, the people here, supporting supporting you guys, but also people who are, especially the students who are looking up to you. They want to be like you in the future, and they want to be like you as a leader.
Oh, thank you so much, super fan. Sa kabilang panic naman, Angie,
Kita
kasi
niyo
alam
place
ko,
na Omega, di niyo sila
meron
nakita sa
kayong
mapa basta
isang
mag-isa.
dito,
Either to...
community leader,
Ah.
Honey Glaze. Hi, Mara. Hi, Smart Omega.
May leading position ni Chakno, lagi na una sa mga importante yung bush.
Kasi caster ka dati.
Baka Chakno yan!
Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
Grabe naman yung papuri nito kay Chakno. Super fan talaga.
Makulo at ganap sa booth nyo. Ano bang makikita ng mga fans doon?
Ngayon kasi nag-activate na yung booth namin, Mara. We have jerseys available na for every
You know,
para
Chakno
for
jersey, oh.
every fan of Mobile Legends ngayon na nandito sa MPL. Ayan.
Ang ganda nga. Maganda. Yung jacket ba para ano, on sale ba yun sa...
On the way na daw po. Ang jacket.
Pati yung pants. Nakalagay Omega.
Secret lang muna yung
Secret
fans.
lang.
Para may pang-intensity. Pero ito yung secret namin
Ano
din.
pa?
Na
Ano
pwede
pa?
naming ibunyag ngayon. Meron kaming, sino bang bias nyo? Meron kaming photo cards. On
Ah.
every kabarangay.
Yan, ganyan dapat.
Na gustong bumili
Samantalahin
ng mga
habang
friends. So, ayan.
nagpapanalo. Ribo, yun, putang na Ribo.
Ayaw lumabas niyan eh.
Sana all.
Lahat ng mga players na...
Isang Ribo lang.
Tigi-isa. Kasi mayroong merong...
Sa akin, kahit Ribo,
sa
Chakno
namin
lang.
na kapag bumili kayo ng merch, pag bumili kayo ng jersey, hindi nyo malalaman kung sino yung pwede nyo makuha.
Nge.
So surprise!
Yes.
O, paano ba masuportahan ang Smart Omega? Ano yung mga Facebook, social media? How?
Yan. Pasok po kayo, sali po kayo sa ating community group. Meron po
Ina,
kami dyan ng
naasid
FB.
na naman
You can
ako.
also find us on every social media at Omega Esports PH.
Oh, gusto niya yan? Supportahan na ang Smart Omega sa kanilang booth ngayon. Magsisimula na ang ating laban. We're gonna throw to panel. Okay, kaya nyo, kaya nyo, kaya nyo? Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Panel?
Kaya?
Kaya mo yan. Paano kaya mo yan?
That's
Sheesh.
adorable. I want some of those, Mara. Alam mo na, since hawak mo na, huwag mo nang bitawan. Okay, kapit ka na dyan. But yes, for everybody else who's wondering, you got that jersey over there.
Natakpan ko
Posible
pala.
nyo makuha.
Sabi ko.
Sino ba yung pangalan na nasa likod? Sino yung pangalan?
Panel, kaya niya.
It's
Omega!
May player pala na pangalan Omega sa Omega.
Pwede. Back and forth.
Oo nga eh. Omega. Isa lang naman, Chakno lang. Hindi na, Omega.
Sa ating venue.
Triple XL lang, Omega.
Omega sa harap, Omega sa likod.
Batik yan. You know where that is. Ano ba?
Meron ka
Siyempre,
bang photo card
spons.
sa mga favorite kabarangay?
Dahil Omega, isa lang. Triple XL.
Kung ano magagaling. Pero ito, hindi randomized.
Ano yan?
Kasi pwede kayong manalo ng not 1, not 2,
Triple
but
XL,
90,000.
Omega.
Iba yung goal eh. 90,000
Mahirap
tayo.
kasi.
Uy,
Mahirap
90,000.
kasi bilangin pag hanggang 90,000. Ang kailangan nyo lang gawin is pumunta dito, of course, sa MPL Arena at i-post ang inyong live experience.
Sponsor naman
sa
dyan.
TikTok with the hashtag MPLS.
Guys, palike naman ng stream. 3 likes pa lang. Ang
That's
ina.
hashtag MPLS.
Maawa na kayo.
Live experience.
Maawa na
Gawin
kayo.
lang na naka-public lahat ng posts nyo at itag ang official pages ng MPL Philippines. Para alam naman namin na nag-post kayo kasi sayang naman.
Pag di namin nakita.
Oo, pag di namin nakita, kayo din. 90,000 diamonds din yun. Sayang. Sayang na sayang. Pero ito ang mas hindi sasayang. Kasi pwede nyo nang gawin ang inyong smart gameplay pose. Ako hindi ko alam kung paano ko ba gawin eh. Pero hindi pa natin makikita. Mamaya yan.
Kopyahin
Alright,
nyo.
so si Jome ang bida ngayon. So kailangan nyong gayahin yan. Bigyan nyo ako ng konting baril. Kasi I assume baril.
Ayan, yun.
Ayan. Tutok.
Gayahin nyo yung post ni Jom! Gayahin nyo yung post ni Jom!
Si Jom.
Gayahin nyo yung post.
Gayahin nyo yung post ni Jom! Yun nasa screen nyo!
Ayan, kuya.
Ito.
Gayahin nyo yung post! Gayahin nyo yung
Guys,
post!
oras na para gayahin.
Tapos na ba laban, boss? Di pa. Last game pa.
Pwede.
We close!
Chill lang yan, chill.
We love it.
Lapit na.
Nadali mo.
Sana meron ka din.
Congratulations.
Ano? Sana meron ka din bigay sa MPL loads. Ako magbibigay sa kanila.
Code courtesy of Smart
Anong bibigay ko sa kanila?
Post. Maraming salamat.
Bulong ko yung mail ko. Sama ka sa Malaysia loads. Putang ina niyo.
Possible together with MPL Philippines. And again, congratulations sa'yo. Ikaw ang nanalo kasama ang iyong...
Bala ko nga dati eh. Para makapagkas lang si Mirko ng MPL page eh. May kihati ako sa pamasahe eh.
Pero di natin alam. Hindi rin
Bayaran ko pa masahe niya kalate.
posibleng mangyari dito sa series na to. Kasi sa totoo lang,
Kaso pinapunta nga siya.
international, we've seen
Ginawa lang naman siyang analyst, hindi siya pinagkas.
this is history.
Eh, ka lang
Pang matagalan ang serye na ito. But from the previous times, we've seen not so much and sweeps as well.
Yeah. Yung gusto ko sabihin dito for Smart Omega, now they pick the blue side. Gets talaga nila yung meta na, ito yung meta na bawal ka talaga matakot. You can't be afraid in this meta. If you see a play, you have to make it. If you want to do something crazy in the draft, you have to go ahead and commit it. Even though low-key, yung Aurora first 2 picks on the red side, it ended up becoming a really good pick. So now it's interesting to see what they're gonna do on the blue side. But we know Coach Bonchan for the longest time has been a really good counter drafter sa red side. So it's gonna be interesting.
And alam mo, no, I really would like to describe Smart Omega's entire gameplay as beautiful chaos. Parang yun talaga yung siguro nagsiset apart sa Omega sa ibang mga teams. Kasi kung papansinin mo yung kuponan ng Smart Omega, kapag naglalaro sila,
Tayo sa gitna.
tapos yung gulo na yun,
Try natin maging gitna
sa objectives.
Maging minsan lang maging bida eh.
I-exemplify yun ngayon as we enter week 2. Kasi last week nakita na natin yun. Pero now, pinapalakas pa nila lalo yung ganong klase ng identity nila.
Yeah, honestly, it favors them so well. Na yung mga ganong klase kasi alam nila kung kailan sila dapat maging magulo.
Yes.
And then, habang magulo sila, they're trying to
Pan chip, Ling,
They're trying to find the kill.
Pan Haya, Fushin, Ruby.
Kaya ang hirap nilang gawin as a team.
MPL ID, Binan Saber eh. Coach Chef, Binan Saber. Grabe. Grabe yung respeto kay Baloy. Sila magbibigay sa'yo kahit t-shirt ng Omega.
As a surprise para sa kupunan ng Smart Omega, maybe they could build up.
Ako ba, bibigyan nila. Kaso wala eh. Di man tayo kilala nila. Hindi tayo kilala. Magde-depend lang talaga sa piging ng Hero Blacklist yung gusto naman. Makuha ni, kaya nga sabi ni MP, pag hindi nakagawa ang jungler, apektado ang team. O di kailangan gumawa si MP ngayon. MP, patunayan mo sinabi mo, kailangan gumawa ka. Okay?
I really think, no, sobrang effective ng Edith. And lagi nating binabanggit to.
Sabi niya, if the jungler can
buff again,
parang ganon, jungle, it will affect everyone.
kapag sumasakit yung damage output mo,
So it's your time to prove, MP.
based on the stacks. So sobrang ganda ng item na yun, especially for an Edith.
Yeah, I mean, kung tatakpan mo yung teams, yung dalawang teams, parang ito lang din yung kind of like replica with what happened during game number 1, where the Hylas is on the blue side and then the Edith is on the red. Pero ito yata yung change kasi Aurora switching onto the blue side. Dadalhin muli ni na Coach Lembot at Smart Omega yung gamit ni Okir kanina.
Lembot pala ko, kala ko siya stronger.
Lason din to. Pero low yi naman. So, yung option naman dito na Black.
Wala nang hindi na nagpapanalo si Coach Bonchan
Fight around the objectives or fight as one.
Baka namimiss mo na yung BOS, Coach. Ay, nanalo pala sila ng nakaraan, no? Saan sila nanalo?
Omega. And then,
di ba natalo nila? TNC ba?
Go for the macro plays, go for the split pushes, send the low E somewhere else. Break the formation of Omega.
Yes. Kaya nga, talaga, no, ang ganda lagi ng pagkakapick ng Aurora for the side of OMG. Kasi laging nasa first phase ng draft. And again, nabanggit na natin ito kanina, kung paano nga nako-close down nun yung mga
MPL page muna, tagal pa ng MPL Malaysia.
What she said, Matic, as of this moment, you'd also love
Shoutout sa Barangay Trio.
ng ating mga fans na nanonood. We're trying to figure something out, at least. Diba?
Go Black Gamer pa. Yeah, Unity League! Galing gamer pa ko.
Including the ones that are at the phone, ay nakikita ang ating mga ganap. But
Unity League pang sibol.
going back into the draft, na parang
Kasi pwede makaklip dun eh. Sarap sana mag-clip dun sa mga ganung amateur. Makita ng mga bagong galawan.
Bilisan nila kung ano yung ganap. Sa totoo lang, pwede kami din.
Tama!
Pwede kami din.
Sino gusto ng Game 3?
Diba?
Game 3 para sulit ang bayar.
All we saying is, we understand.
Oy! Ang ganda! Blinak nila kagad yung potential na Bane pickup.
Yep. And also, yung
Oo nga,
pagkaka-first
no?
skill ng
Di rin.
Louis, yung
Magbe-bane pa rin yan.
ng Matilda, lahat mabablock ng Guardians
Barrier. Oh, mapapabalik. Iikot si Haji sa sarili niya. Well, hindi naman sa ganun, pero parang ganun. Parang ganun na.
Bane pa rin yan, no? Bane.
Hirapan siya to like unleash those wisps. Nadala nitong Matilda. Just
Bane Alpha. Hindi, Bane yan.
Nadala nitong Lolita. Any final thoughts?
Tama si MP.
Final pick para sa Blacklist.
Pwede pang mag-Julian, yung
Yeah.
kupunan ng Blacklist International.
Nakawa na ako kay Haji. Putang na kung ano ng rule nilalaro.
Cautious dun sa fact na pwedeng ibalik ng Lolita yung shuriken na umiikot. Yun lang naman yung kailangan ng bantayan.
Bane mo na. Huwag ka tuming sa coach.
Ang laso nung...
Roger.
Kasi mapapaisip ka talaga na kung ano yung pipiliin mo.
Text pala, Roger.
Yung safe option, lalaro na lang nila yung mapa. They're just gonna end up playing the map, playing the macro game because it's so tough. Again, it's tough for Blacklist International to fight into the lineup of Omega.
This is what we're talking about, right? Yung lineup ng Smart Omega, lagi sila may baon. Just like what you said, we've seen
Yes.
Hanzo, now it's the Lolita para sa barangay.
Oo, kasi ang gandang sagot nito kasi na-force na nila na hindi mag-bane. Tapos ngayon, lahat ng heroes na meron yung kupunan ng Blacklist International, I would say madaling ma-counter ng Guardian's Shield barrier na isang Lolita. Kasi even the Blazing Duet of a Claude, kaya agad ibalik ng Lolita yung damage output na nanggagaling doon.
This is what I often forget too. Guardian Bulwark pala.
Oo.
Yung kay
Dati
Lolita.
kasi
Yung barrier, kay Grak pala yun.
Kay Grab. Pero dati may barrier din.
May barrier din siya eh.
Well,
Press B.
eto na yun. We're about to figure out if Smart Omega can sweep or Blacklist International will extend to Game 3.
Welcome to Mobile Legends.
Match point for the barangay as the agents struggle to find their footing. Jose Ingan and Leo here at your service. Can I just say,
What?
I agree with the panel, man. Every single pickup from the barangay seems to answer whatever Black is doing and more.
There's a good counter. I mean, they were just aiming for Chaknu's Lolita to counter at the Bane, the potential Bane pick. But with outplays Claude pick, it's like it's a 2-for-1 when they picked up that Lolita.
Yeah. But if anything, you mentioned outplayed on Claude.
XP deep.
Blacklist have relatively comfortable picks, right? Like
Yeah.
Exord is great on the low Yi. MP the King, we know what he can do with an aggressive jungler like Roger. And outplayed has won multiple championships in the MPL because of a Claude here. So with that said, I don't feel so scared for Black. And I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe we do see Game 3.
Although, a lot of people are asking for game number 3, but I'm not sure if Omega wants that. But Andoryu, on the other hand, it's going to be a good game for him or a fun game for him if he ever reaches his early game power spike. Because almost everyone from the lineup of Blacklist
Softies
are softies.
Yeah.
Aside from Dilar, maybe.
There's literally half the room does not want to see Game 3.
Yeah.
And you're right. Again, it's exacerbated by the fact. We were just talking about it.
Again, the Leo caster curse.
They anticipate. Hey, no, this time you were the one who was talking about it.
So it's just a caster curse.
Yeah. Yeah. See, so you were mentioning how Andoryu can just, anticipate whoever walks into the wrong bush. And here it just so happens that it was Haji.
Putang na, 1v1. Si Roger. Ba't mo pinilit, Jom?
He popped his Purify even. That's a good trade here for Black, but on the other hand, Omega will secure the first turtle.
Hero to turtle.
I'll call this a small victory for Omega, given that, Jom died, he spent his Purify.
Victory? Namatay nga si Jumi.
So it's a small victory, but it was costly.
Small victory.
Especially for Jom with Harith. You want Harith to dominate the early game, especially up against Claude. Although MP the King was there to finish the job. I mean, Jom, you just performed well with a Harith against the Falcons.
Hold on,
It's
Boots.
okay, man.
It's okay.
You know what they say, either go big or go Jom.
Wow. Literally, because Jom's, what, 6'1"?
He's one of the few aggressive gold laners left, and I think Blacklist did well to punish that. They saw that he was a little in too deep and outplayed, the veteran that he is, called for MP the King and went for that. Blacklist is happy with what they got. Still, we're looking at a wash game here, 1-1. Small advantage for Smart Omega. They did get the turtle. About 100, 200 gold ahead, 3 minutes in. I think this is a time where an upplate should say, you know what, let's take advantage of this.
Yeah.
I have a small gold lead over Jom.
Yeah, especially towards the late game. Again, this is a Claude. And at the same time, towards the late game, they technically have 3 marksmen. That's MP, Dilar, and Outplayed.
Dilar, Asterisk, yeah?
Yeah, Asterisk on Dilar, especially when he casts that Primal Wrath. But still, towards the late game, I would really favor Black.
If they get there.
If they get there. But the problem is, Omega, they've been performing well. Their average games are relatively fast, except for the FCAP game where they reach, I believe, 18 or 20 minutes.
Different
Again,
story.
That's FCAP.
Yeah. Here we go, about 20 seconds until the next turtle spawning in the upper quarter once more. And very similar to game one, Omega pulling out the Omega Ube once more. Like they're all rotating in big 3-man, 4-man coalitions. Haji here, once again on the receiving end, the business end of Omega's aggression. And we haven't really seen a big 5-man fight. I think that should be a thing of beauty, especially since you're looking at not just the Glorious Pathway here, it is now, but as well a numerous blast.
But on the other hand, on the bottom lane, Blacklist wants to go right after Jome once again. They're going to get an uncontested turtle here, but Jome has to walk away, and I believe he's going to evade that 4-man rush from Blacklist. And this time, they're answering right back. Don't touch my Jome! Haji has to circling eagle.
Habol pa rin si Exor.
Exor was there. He's going to fall down. The Numinal Blast will hit.
Dapat sa Torin daan.
Answered right back. No trades for Blacklist.
Thank you, random patch from about 9 months ago. That would have not been possible if not for the post-turtle movement speed in the river. Now outplayed in trouble.
Especially if you have the Wilderness Blessing here for both of the roamers.
Oheb in na daw, Oheb in. Ang nilagay pa sa poster si Oheb, di ba? Maglalaro.
Even Andoryu. The mid trio doesn't even have to rotate around Andoryu anymore. Andoryu's a big boy. He can manage himself. He can burst down anyone, any of the 4 members of Blacklist.
And look at that. It's as if the first kill in gold didn't really happen because Jome just pushed that tier 1 all by himself.
Yeah. So right now, it's not looking good for Blacklist. But again, they still have a lot of damage towards the late game if ever they reach it. And the X Factor. Exort with the Louis. Exort's been flexing this Louis pick ever since even last season, both in MPL and MPL. So if Blacklist wants to turn things around, they really have to first make it to the late game.
Egan, let me just tell you, the only real gambit they're playing with, if Exort finds a nice diversion, is, I'm being real particular with my words here, it's a very specific combo, is they get a diversion play into a full-on Dilar combo. Like, that's it. And these are all single target skills. Sure, maybe you can find one again with Haji, but that's best case scenario.
Yeah, plus the Chakno factor, the Lolita. I'm pretty sure Chakno's just gonna wait for Outplay to cast that Blazing Duet, and once it's casted, the Bulwarks, the Guardian's Barrier is just there to deflect damage from here. Okay, Jome is the next target once again. He has the Examine Force. What? And Jome manages to escape again. The aggressive attack coming in from Blacklist now. Ryota Army is here with the Glorious Pathway. MP the King's going to fall down. Dilar is the next target. And Chaknu there with the stun. But Dilar, oh, look at the Numinal Blast connects onto 2. Primal Wrath, not going to be enough. And now Omega is just on a rampage. This was not like game number 1, because game number 1, it was a push and pull back and forth.
It's growing on you, huh? Ryota Army.
The Ryota Army.
What I'm impressed more than just the follow-through, was how single-handedly Big J made Blacklist think twice about the diversion play. Like, he just dropped the Zaman Force, Chrono dashed through the wall, and even MP the King was like, is this even worth it?
Yeah.
And that's what spelled disaster. That's what made me think the rest of what follows from here is all Omega.
And even the re-engage from Omega, like the chemistry, we've been talking about Omega's chemistry since week number 1.
That's right.
They had a lot of mix-in matches last season, but this time their 5-man is complete and the chemistry isn't a problem anymore for Barangay.
Amazing. There you saw in the instant replay brought to us by Infinix. You saw again the instantaneous response. Now let's go again.
The General charging right on. Zaman Force here for Joe. But Blacklist was able to escape. Look at that Frigid Glacier connecting onto 2. Outplayed onto the back line. Blazing Duet. But Omega was ready for that Blazing Duet, and he's going to fall down. Wow, every single member of Omega is doing their part. Ryota with the charge, Chaknu with the defense, and the rest with the damage to bring down Outplayed.
That was Whiplash. I think Outplayed went a little too fast, and suddenly found out he was out of his breath. Ridiculous response by Smart Omega, now 4,000 gold ahead. I'm wondering now what the possible answer is from Blacklist, besides a punish, right? Besides the punish, because so far, it seems like Smart Omega are doing exactly just that, Ingan. They're leveraging their amazing synergy, their bond, their chemistry. And wait, Diversion play.
Oh,
They're
yun.
They're gonna crash onto Ryota here, but they're prepared. Zor's pass, they want to
Tangin
again.
na, Dilar!
What is happening? Force will be cast in the bridging glacier.
1v1, 2v1, Dilar.
Walk away with the blazing duet, and the kill spree coming in from Jome as Andoryu picks up a Sky Piercer.
Ang damage.
You cannot surprise the barangay.
Did you see that? A forward flicker by Ukir in a real, what was that, a Euro step by Chakno? It's as if they anticipated the diversion. It's as if they told Black, go here. The Y bush, go here.
This is why Chakno opted for the flicker instead of the revitalize. They don't need sustain. They don't need extra help. They need the Chak Mamba to unleash that. As you mentioned, the Numinum Blast Flicker combination connecting onto two.
They are the aggressors.
Wow.
They are the aggressors. They don't need the extra protection. If anything, the Purify on Jome is their only real defensive battle spell. The Revitalizer...
Wala na, hindi na umiingay ang agents.
Oh, look at that. Okay. Blood wings.
Are you okay, agents?
As much as you want to say
Kaya pa ba?
the threat of Andoryu makes
Wala na nag-cheer.
those split pushes. Again, this is a very mobile.
Nabatrip na agents kay Banobs.
Regardless of the Purify.
Maingay daw sa social media.
Even everywhere.
Yes.
Even Exort.
Hype daw, hype pa.
And this immense gold lead, I think they can bring down Inhibitor Dirt with one Lord, but here comes
Putang na, pinasok mo sa tore.
just to scare away Blacklist. Oh, this is gonna be a hard defense for the agents.
Looking at their wave clear, I think it's quite respectable. You do have the Claude, you have the Lu Yi, who can just, you know, almost as if doing basic attacks can clear, as well as MP the King.
Under the blacklist. Tangin.
He does have respectable wave clear. Now Haji's in trouble!
Conceal right in front of the faces of the agents. Circling Eagle, but Numinum Blast once again. Connecting plus the frigid Glacier. Outplayed, forced to use the Blazing Duet, but won't commit because the damage from Omega. It's just too much.
Omega is a single-minded unit. They're going to penetrate up top. Bottom's going to be up next. MP the King doing his best to cover up that whole
Putang na, 10 minutes.
Again leading the charge. Omega
11 minutes.
undefeated.
Oy, nabuhay pa.
The minions aren't there. Blacklist, the circumstances lined up for the agents. Because if there was one minion, just one minion, the game would be over.
It would have been over. The Rio Army are going wild. Online, here, in Green Sun, and everywhere around the world. If you thought they could only engage via the Numinum Blast, think again! Here it is!
Who has the flicker? Chak Mamba for Omega!
A sweep by the Barangay, continuing their streak.
Dotira.
Just another day in the office.
Dotira. Blacklist. Ano ba yan? Ina.
For all you players questioning Lolita in RNG, saying it's not fun to use Lolita with the Revitalize, this is a signal you can use Lolita.
Tama na Sandorio. Sabi niya, easy.
I'm baffled by how well Smart Omega's
Easy.
They are a well-oiled machine. You know what they say? Bonds formed through traumatic experiences are the strongest. They went through one hell of a season 13. Now they're back better than ever.
And those traumatic experiences mostly were caused by Blacklist, so this was a really...
Top ano na yata ang Omega? Top 2? Top 1?
This is cathartic. This is emotional release, and look at that, the respect between both squads, and welcoming into his loving arms Exort. I bet the Omega boys missed Exort.
Yeah, actually,
Si Exort eh, Omega yan eh.
Exort's one of the noisiest, rowdiest players from the whole
Napakaingay naman ng batang to.
One of the nicest guys, I can tell you that.
But this time, only one victor will prevail. In this case, Omega starting out strong. Third series where they won.
Putting myself in the shoes of an agent of the Code Breakers, you have to wonder, when are they going to find that winning formula? When is the code going to work?
It's going to take them a long time, but still, we're still being number 2. A lot of adjustments, a lot of time for them to make the necessary adjustments. So props for Blacklist for giving us one hell of a...
That's right. They let the general play, the general of the Delarmy, and they shuffled around, let Exort come on and put Haji back into the row, but I guess it's back to the drawing board. GG will play Blacks International. It's Smart Omega who comes out on top. Is this their third win now?
Third win, yeah.
Their third win now. Their second sweep in Season 14.
GG guys, GG. Bukas ulit.
And only to F-Cap.
And only to F-Cap.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor. He's Jose Ingan. I'm Leo at your service.
May makulit na rito eh. Coco Melon.
Omega.
All right, everybody, let me hear it from you. Bagong shot! Omega! Congratulations, Smart Omega. Riota, quick background sa lahat ng mga hindi nakakaalam. Dati, kayo ni Dilar, di ba? Teammates kayo nung Onyx. Main 5 siya nun, ikaw, sub, para kay Dilar. Ngayon, you're going head-to-head against each other. Natatalo mo na siya. How does that make you feel?
Para sa akin, sakto lang. Kasi, feel ko parang nagbabawi pa siya ng laro eh. Kung kakabalik niya lang. Yun para sa akin.
Patingin nga nung side mo na parang Dilar ulit. Patingin. Tapos yung point mo, patingin. Yung side mo, yung kanina, pinakita mo. Riota, it's so nice to see you shining. That's really, really nice. Ngayon naman si Chaknu. Wow! Okay, ulitin natin yon. Ngayon naman si Chaknu. Chaknu, pag ikaw talaga humahawak ng mic, no? Talaga nababaliw yung mga tao. Chaknu, eto ba, you guys have been winning. How many games in a row? Win streak kayo. Ito na ba yung best form ng Smart Omega? At bakit nga ba na parang pasok na pasok yung playstyle ng Omega sa meta ngayon?
Siguro hindi pa to yung best form namin eh. Ano pa lang. Abang daily nag-i-improve kumbaga daily.
Mag-i-improve pa kayo ngayon? Nasusweep nyo na yung mga kalaban nyo? So bakit nga ba pasok yung playstyle ng Omega? Kasi napansin ko, usually, yung mga teams na very systematic, ay hindi ganun kaganda yung resulta sa meta ngayon. Pero kayo, yung Omega, nag-go lang ng go, lagi kayong nananalo. Bakit nga ba kayo pasok ngayon?
Siguro mas lang kami sumugal sa play, ganun. Kaya pasok yung laro namin sa meta ngayon.
Yan, malakas yung loob niyo palagi eh. Go lang ng go. Si Andorio naman, Andorio, I wanna highlight Andorio. Okay. So last week nga, sinabi namin, natalo mo yung mga nililista ng mga tao na #1 na jungler. Pero hindi ko natanong sa'yo, kung ma-rate mo yung mga junglers ngayon, ano yung top 3?
Top 1 si Kyle, top 2 si...
Kyle.
Top 2 po si Carl.
Carl.
Tapos yung top 3, dalawa eh. Okay
Sino?
lang. Si Devon Kite saka si King Kong.
Si Demon Kite and King Kong. Bakit wala ka doon sa top 3?
Mas malakas sa akin yun eh.
Nice answer. But you know, ano ang sinasabi nito? Okay, now, let's take a look at the MVP of the game. Na-distract ako sa iyo, Jones. MVP of the game is... Okay! Congratulations, MVP! Uy, nabubuhay ang mga fans muli ng Smart Omega. Anong gusto mong sabihin sa kanila? Ano na pa ba ang dapat namin asahan mula sa inyo?
Gusto ko lang sabihin sa mga fans ng Omega, no? Thank you sa suporta. Tapos sa mga pumunta sa venue, patuloy nyo kami suporta sa mga parating namin na laban. Yan.
Congratulations!
Tapos shoutout pala sa kay Sir Lay. Tapos yung Facebook daw kasi ni Coach Ron, nahack eh. Baka daw pwedeng may makatulong doon. PM nyo na lang, Ronel Tan.
Nahack ang Facebook. Alam mo, Coach, ganyan yung nangyayari kapag nananalo. Nagkakaroon tayo ng mga hackers. And now it's time to announce our super fan, our lucky fan with 3,000 diamonds. Come on up. Ganito ngayon sa MPL, we pick one lucky fan every series to give away 3,000 diamonds. What's your name?
My name is Johannes,
You have an accent, Johannes. Where are you from?
Indonesian.
Indonesia! So you love MPL Philippines, yes?
Yes.
I see here that you have Smart Omega. I'm guessing they're your favorite team. Who's your